weekdays. Catch me if you can.
1 and 12, we're now in pursuit of van, heading westbound. Turn left here. Van is turned.
Catch Adam 12 and the A-Team.
All right, you in the van. Come on out nice and slow with your hands empty.
Today, starting at 5, 4 Central. On MeTV.
With the understanding he don't even look back till he gets to Sacramento.
He'll be on that first freight wagon out of town, Buford. Now, Miss Dolly here, she brought me the evidence. I expect you're going to be dropping the charges against her. Would you want her on that same freight wagon?
No, sir. No, sirree, Sheriff. I want her locked up.
Buford.
Do your duty, Sheriff. I want to press my charges against her.
I'm sorry, Miss Dolly. Buford knows his rights.
Quit your sobbing and just throw her in the calaboose.
Yes, sir.
Buford, you can't mean that.
I mean it. And if you don't keep your consarn nose out of my business, I'll get you locked up, too. Well, Lev, what are you waiting for? Come on.
Why is he doing this to me?
Oh, Miss Dolly. As soon as I can find him, I think I can get him to drop his charges. He's probably off somewhere studying about it right now.
Well, I found you both right where I want you. And I got a lot to say to you, Hoss Cartwright. Now, you've been sneaking up on it about as clumsy as a newborn calf. Wearing them fancy duds. Making out what a ignorant, uncurried, miserable-looking galoot I am. When all the time what you was really trying to do is tell me Miss Dolly wasn't interested in me. Just my money.
Buford, I was just trying to do what was best for you, that's all.
What kind of a numbskull do you take me for? You think I didn't know what they was up to?
Well, Dad, burn it, Buford, the way you was acting.
Any woman would rather have a rich man than a poor one. And if money's what it takes for me to have Dolly Bantry, she can have every penny I got. I don't know what money's good for if it ain't to buy the things you want in life. All I want's Dolly. I had to say it, Miss Dolly. That's why I had the sheriff lock you up, so that there Blackie wouldn't make you go away with him. So he wouldn't walk away before I got said.
I wouldn't have walked away.
Well, that ain't all of it. There's a mite over $20,000 there, and there's more where that come from. Now, if it's fine hotels and fancy living you want, you can have it. I know I ain't as slick as Blackie Wells, but I'll do my best to see you ain't never ashamed of me. On the other hand, this your money could buy a little ranch I know of not too far out of town. There'd be enough left over to buy a starter herd of beef and to get the paint and the lumber to fix it up, and the barn and the house and things. Living wouldn't be too easy. But if it's got any appeal to you, I'm offering you all the sweat and calluses I can raise. In addition to my good name. Either way, I take as good a care of you as any man can. And I'll do my darndest to be any kind of man you want me to. If you have me?
Buford. If you aren't the god darndest, untwisted, wonderful, a sweetheart a girl could ask for.
Today on The Summer of Me, it's the Rifleman, followed by Wagon Train and Adam 12. That's on the way on MeTV.
We all know that movement is like medicine, but getting the movement you need to feel better can be a challenge. Now you can keep fit while you sit with Cbs, the world's leading compact seated elliptical. Cbs gives you active sitting, letting you burn calories and keep moving in an easy and low-impact way, all while you work, read, or watch TV. Cbs was named a top 10 gift by Time magazine and has been featured all over the world. It's whisper quiet while it works your abs and core, hip flexors, glutes, quads, hamstrings, and calves.
Cbs is a lifesaver for me.
Here's your answer to your problem.
I feel young again.
Join the hundreds of thousands of people moving more with QB. Call to find out how to get your QB with free shipping and a 30-day completely risk-free trial. You'll also get this QB workout mat free. Now keep fit while you sit with QB.
To order, call 800-280-6454. That's 800-280-6454. Call now.
I should like to marry, if that I could find a very handsome fellow suited to my mind. Or I should like him dashing, or I should like him gay, the leader of the fashion, the dandy of the day. Oh, I should like to marry, if that I could find a very handsome fellow suited to my mind.
Wedding present for you, Missy Dolly.
Hopsing, it's beautiful.
Gentlemen, the bride! The bride! Hey!
This has been a color production of the NBC Television Network.
This is the MeTV Network, seen locally on KSFY's MeTV Sioux Falls. MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
Women, a letter was the only connection to loved ones. Whether writing or receiving, a letter brought the near ones and the dear ones closer to the heart. MASH, tonight, starting at 7 p.m. 6 Central on MeTV.
Now in the Svengoolie store, it's the Svengoolie Artist Collection. Renowned comic artists have created original Svengoolie art for a limited edition t-shirt series. Now get Jim Ingalls' rendition of MeTV's resident horror host. Go to Svengoolie.com and get yours today.
I've been putting off getting life insurance, and I'm not getting any younger.
Have you been thinking about getting a life insurance plan, but just keep putting it off? Was that a yes? Then this message is for you. I'm David Denowitz. As a legal advisor, I know the importance of life insurance. And that's why I'm here to tell you it's not too late to get the coverage you need. Call now to get affordable life insurance, and rates start as low as $5 a week. And your acceptance is guaranteed.
I have a pre-existing medical condition. Is my acceptance guaranteed?
Yes.
Can I get accepted without a medical exam?
Yes. If you're over 50, you can't be turned down for this insurance regardless of your health. Plus, there's no medical exam and no health questions. Your rate will never go up, your coverage will never go down, and rates start as low as $5 a week. Pick up the phone and say yes to a life insurance plan you can afford.
Just call 800-898-4336.
I don't want to burden my kids with funeral expenses. Is my acceptance guaranteed?
Yes. This plan also comes with a double guarantee, guaranteed acceptance and a guaranteed rate. That's right. Your acceptance is guaranteed and your rate can never go up for any reason.
Does that mean my coverage would start immediately?
Yes. Your coverage begins as soon as your application is received. Remember, if you're over 50, you can't be turned down regardless of your health. There's just one simple question in order to qualify. Are you over the age of 50? If you answered yes, don't wait another minute and call now.
Just call 800-898-4336. That's 800-898-4336.
The closeness of family, company of friends, and utmost in quality care. For those unable to live on their own, Teason Memorial Home offers skilled nursing, memory care, a rehabilitation center, in-house chapel, and so much more. Choose a private or double room with additional housing available for spouses. Plus, we're VA and Medicare approved. Small town caring for body and soul. Teason Memorial Home in Marion.
What should we do?
I'm going to CashNetUSA.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, we can have the money as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way. With any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, and batteries never need charging.
I was having a stroke, and I was scared to death.
If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Life Alert is a lifesaver.
My husband is alive because of Life Alert.
Life Alert is the lifesaver to keep me out of assisted living.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-344-6363. That's 1-800-344-6363. Call now. 1-800-344-6363.
For the best in fishing, hunting, and the great outdoors, turn on Midwest Outdoors every Sunday right here on Fox Sioux Falls.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65 and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. It has an affordable rate starting at $9.95 a month. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-934-3322 for your free information and free gift. That's 1-800-934-3322. 1-800-934-3322. Call now.
Only Daisy Cottage cheese will do. Only Daisy Cottage cheese will do. So creamy and delicious. Only Daisy Cottage cheese.
Using Wi-Fi without Nord.
This is a First Alert weather update.
Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Phil Schreck in the Dakota News Now First Alert Weather Center. So we're watching this line of storms right now. It's a kind of a bow echo that's extending from Huron right through Mitchell right now on into Gregory County. And this whole line is moving to the east very rapidly over the last several hours. It's been holding together, and it's still holding together. And so the National Weather Service has just issued a severe thunderstorm warning, which includes the Sioux Falls area now. Huron is under a warning at the present time, as is Mitchell down to Wagner, and now they just added Sioux Falls to this. So the storm is pretty far away right now, the leading edge of it to around the Mitchell area, but the thing is moving so fast that you're getting a lot of lead time right now. This new severe thunderstorm warning, which includes the Sioux Falls area, goes until 3:30. So let's see, the severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Fedora to near Ethan to near Armour, moving east at 50 miles an hour, very rapidly. And so we're talking about 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. In fact, earlier on today, we had a report of a 90-mile-an-hour wind gust in the Huron area. So folks, in the Sioux Falls vicinity anyway, have time here to make whatever preparations you need. If you need to bring in things from outside, patio furniture, things like that, whatever it is. But look at all the lightning with this line of storms that's moving on through. Just incredible lightning show as this line of storms continues to move off to the east. Again, it's moving about 50 miles an hour. And there is a severe thunderstorm watch, in fact, 2 of them. One until 4 o'clock, that's the one that's farther off to the west here, including Huron, Mitchell, and Watertown. Although it looks like at this point the heavier stuff is going to stay south of Watertown. And then this severe thunderstorm warning farther off to the east, that's in effect until 7 o'clock this evening. So that's the latest from the Weather Center here. Again, just a reminder that we do have a severe thunderstorm warning now, which does include the Sioux Falls area as this line of storms here moves off to the east at about 50 miles an hour. It'll be affecting the Sioux Falls area, somewhere around 3:15, 3:30, somewhere in there. Other places that'll be affected, Alexandria, Milltown, and Fulton around 2:30, Emory and Farmer around 2:35, Spencer in McCook County around 2:40, Bridgewater 2:45, Tripp 2:50, and then places like Salem, Freeman, Canastota, Kaler, and Dolton around 2:55, Marion around 3 o'clock, Montrose and Monroe around 3:05, and again maybe a little later for the Sioux Falls area, somewhere around 3:15, somewhere in there. And a new warning looks like just been issued just to the north there to include places just east of Huron and right around the Brookings vicinity as this line of storms continues to move off to the east. That new warning that you saw flashing there, that's in effect until 3:30 as well. So keep it here on your Dakota News Now stations. We'll continue to crawl the information across the bottom of your screen. You can see any new warnings that come out, any new information that is important to you. We'll put that on the bottom of the screen. Also, make sure to follow my Twitter account. It's at Phil Schreck WX. That's at PHILSCHRECK, and then the letters WX, and I automatically send out those warnings as soon as they are issued. So keep it here, and we'll continue to break in as new information becomes available. Stay safe.
Must-see MeTV episodes coming up this week. Wednesday at 5/4 Central. It's a family affair when Tina Sinatra and Frank Sinatra Jr. guest star on Adam 12. Thursday night at 12:35, 11:35 Central. See Robert Redford in one of his earliest roles on The Twilight Zone. Friday night at 9/8 Central. Gomer travels to Washington, D.C. and ends up in the Oval Office on Gomer Pyle. To see the full MeTV schedule, go to MeTV.com today.
You all join us at the Wagon Train.
Wagon Train. Today, starting at 4/3 Central on MeTV.
Attention Medicare recipients. The Inogen One Portable Oxygen Concentrator may now be available at little or no cost to you. Call 800-494-6812 to order yours today. Inogen oxygen concentrators are portable and make oxygen from the air around you. They're light, quiet, and battery operated to go everywhere you go. And we have a full line of portable oxygen units to fit a wide range of budgets. If you're on Medicare, you may even qualify to get your Inogen unit at little or no cost to you. Go back to joining friends for the breakfast special, make spending time with the grandkids easier, or start attending your religious services again. Call Inogen now for a free information kit and a free no-obligation consultation on our complete line of affordable portable oxygen products. And anyone on Medicare or with eligible insurance plans may qualify to get an Inogen One at little or no cost. Call 800-494-6812. That's 800-494-6812.
I thought I was doomed to have poor dental health and ill-fitting dentures, and from the minute I walked into Dr. Heyer's office and met him, I feel very well supported, and I feel like I'm a part of their family. I just felt like I was in really good hands all the way. I wouldn't hesitate for a second to do it all over again.
Contact us online or over the phone to schedule your free consultation today. Affordable care with a luxury experience.
Your paycheck. Your family depends on it. But if something happened to you, you need life insurance. And chances are SelectQuote can get it for you for under $1 a day. SelectQuote found Michael, 38, a $500,000 policy for under $23 a month. SelectQuote found Anna, 37, a $750,000 policy for under $23 a month. SelectQuote's secret? They comparison shop a select group of great companies like these for your best rate. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. Since 1985, SelectQuote has saved over 1 million families millions of dollars on life insurance.
Call now. 1-800-210-5727. That's 1-800-210-5727. Or go to SelectQuote.com.
Discover what over 1 million families know. We shop, you save.
If you or a loved one are in need of help in your home, you can get that help with the assistance of a home health aide from Interim Healthcare. With our services, you can maintain your independence and stay in your own home.
Not all home health aides are trained, but at Interim Healthcare, our home health aides are trained and eager to help.
From light housework to medication reminders, we are here to give you the care that's right for you. Interim Healthcare, veteran-owned,
woman-owned,
family-owned.
This is a First Alert weather update.
Hello once again, this is meteorologist Phil Schreck in the Dakota News Now First Alert Weather Center. We're looking at a live shot here from Sioux Falls, McKinnon Hospital, looking to the northwest, and the clouds continue to thicken up. The sky is darkening as a line of storms is moving in from the west. The Sioux Falls area now is under a severe thunderstorm warning until 3:30. Here's the wide view showing that line of storms, very intense line of storms from Huron, circling around or curving around to Mitchell, and then into the southwest there to Gregory County there. And so here's a look at all the warnings that have been issued right now. There's a lot of them, and we're crawling all that information across the bottom of your screen so you can just continue to keep track of that. So that line of storms now that's heading towards Sioux Falls is in McCook County, continuing to head off to the east, and it's moving quickly to the east at about 55 miles an hour. So that'll continue to move that way, and there is a tremendous amount of lightning with this line of storms. Look at all those lightning bolts here on our lightning tracker as this thing moves to the east. We're also, we're getting reports earlier on around Huron of a wind gust around 90 miles an hour. You know, wind gusts of 70 to 80 miles an hour, not uncommon with this line of storms as it moves on through. And then even on the backside behind that line of storms, we have reports of some strong winds from what's called a wake low that's kind of developed on the backside of that line of storms. But there are 2 severe thunderstorm watches in effect right now, one to the northwest, you know, including Huron, Mitchell. That's in effect until 4 o'clock, and you can see the line of storms is about to exit that particular severe thunderstorm watch, and it's heading into the new one, or the newer one, which is in effect until 7 o'clock tonight, and that does include the Sioux Falls area. But again, I just want to show you those warnings again. So these are all the warnings that are in place right now. They're all severe thunderstorm warnings as this line of storms moves to the east. And now keep in mind, this is not just your typical severe thunderstorm. These storms are producing wind gusts 70, 80, and even as I mentioned earlier on this afternoon around the Huron area, there was a report of a 90 mile an hour wind gust around the Huron area. So this line of storms continues to move to the east very quickly at about 55 miles an hour. It's exiting the Mitchell area. So Mitchell was hit with some heavy rain, some strong winds a little earlier. Wagner is right now. Yankton, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. I believe that also goes until 3:30, maybe 3:45, but you get the picture. That storm is moving in your direction as well. So this is probably going to be affecting the immediate Sioux Falls area, you know, in the next half hour, maybe a little earlier than that. So be prepared for some very strong winds and maybe some quarter-size hail as this moves on through. But the main issue with this line of storms is would be those really strong thunderstorm winds in excess of 60 miles an hour, in some cases 70, 80 miles an hour, as it drifts off to the east. So keep it here on your Dakota News Now family of stations, and we'll keep you informed. Now we'll take you back to programming.
Turn down for this insurance regardless of your health. Plus, there's no medical exam, and
no health questions. Your rate will never go up. Your coverage will never go down. And rates start as low as $5 a week. Your coverage begins as soon as your application is received. Don't wait until it's too late.
Just call 800-767-9164.
Coverage is guaranteed regardless of your health and cannot be canceled without your approval. Don't leave your family with a huge bill for your funeral. With one fast and easy call, get up to $30,000 in affordable life insurance to help cover funeral expenses and credit card debt, and maybe even leave something for your kids and your grandkids. Remember, if you're over 50, you can't be turned down, regardless of your health. There's no medical exam and no health questions. Best of all, your rates start as low as $5 a week, and your rate will never increase. Nothing is more important than family. So don't leave them with a lot of bills to pay when you're gone. Don't leave your family with a lot of bills to pay for your funeral. Call right now. Acceptance is guaranteed. Call right now.
Call now. 800-767-9164. That's 800-767-9164.
Do you listen to the TV on high volume or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from hearing aids. Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get Nano's revolutionary technology for just $397. Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not one but two Nano hearing aids for just $397. Plus, we'll add a portable charging dock and ship your order absolutely free. The CIC Recharge has a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Why keep missing out on important conversations or waste thousands of dollars? Call and get two CIC Recharge hearing aids for only $397 and free shipping.
800-717-6156. Again, 800-717-6156.
This is the MeTV Network, seen locally on KSFY's MeTV Sioux Falls. MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
Pa, what do you say when you look into the fire like you're doing? What, Pa?
Flames?
Ma?
Hush now.
You don't see nothing?
Just flames. Oh.
Miss Palmer? Do you see things except in flames?
Oh, I see all kinds of things, Freddie. I see men with long beards and girls with flowing dresses. And do you know, if I look real hard, I can see San Francisco.
San Francisco? Could I, if I looked real hard?
Well, why don't you try?
It's an instinct getting along with young'uns. Some's got it, some ain't.
Here, let me have it. If you want your boy back, ma'am.
We want to thank your wife for looking after the babe, mister.
Her arms are as strong as yours.
I guess there's a reason for a man taking a wife and a woman taking a husband, but sometimes you wonder what sparked it.
Bedtime. Come on, Freddie. Daddy.
legendary A-Team.
The A-Team.
There's only one A-Team.
Is now part of the Me Team.
It's brilliant.
BA.
Don't look at me.
Hannibal.
Are you guys saying you don't want to team up with me?
Mad Dog.
Oh, me. Oh, please, me.
And Face.
One big happy family.
Are all about me.
Sounds like money in the bank to me.
Get your fix of A on Me. The A-Team. Tonight at 6/5 Central. Part of the Summer of Me on Me TV.
That's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me.
What is it, nonsense? I never do it to fail. Sooner or later, that good luck will run out.
About
All right. So I borrow my sister.
Well, it never fails, does it? They wonder about you when they need you.
See that line right there from Howard to Salem points east. You can also see those very, very bright shades of green picked up by radar. That is indicating we are getting those very strong wind gusts, at least at that level in the atmosphere. Can we go and take a few samples just north of Salem, because that is 85-mile-per-hour winds right there, and that is a little under 2,000 feet in terms of elevation from the radar site. So that's not too far high up. It's not going to take too much for at least some of that to mix on down to the surface. So we're looking at some very, very strong winds, again, north of Salem, near Unityville, near Canova, as well as this all pushes to the east into an air mass that is quite frankly juiced right now. We have a lot of moisture within this air mass that's right over southeastern Keloland. We're still seeing dew points in the mid-70s in many locations. So we have that. We have the temperatures in the mid-90s, for example. At Sioux Falls, still seeing 94 for a high, and a current temperature for that matter. It has just been kind of everything coming together, having the ingredients in place to maintain this line that continues to move on through. One thing we haven't really talked about has been the rain. And we've seen on a couple of our weather cameras, we've had a lot of very, very heavy rainfall coming around. Those are radar estimates of upward of 3 inches of rain east and southeast of Huron within the heaviest portion of this line that continues to move on through, even toward Mitchell around 1 inch to 1.5 inches indicated by radar. North and west of Mitchell, 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall. This is also going to continue to produce a lot of that, so we are going to have some ponding on roadways that we're going to have to keep an eye on as well. So a couple of facets we're watching here, a couple of little indicators of just the amount of energy that we have in place, the amount of moisture that we have in place for that matter, as this all continues to move on over to the east. So again, that main severe thunderstorm warning that we still have in place, that is along I-90, Mitchell points east into Sioux Falls and Brandon. That's still there for about another 25 minutes as that continues to move on through. So this is kind of your, I want to say maybe like one of your last heads up if you were toward the Sioux Falls area. Get inside as this head moves on over. Again, this is not really taking its time. This is to the east at 50. So we're going to put a tracker on this so you can see just about when this will be over into the Sioux Falls area. So we are looking at anywhere between 3:20 and 3:30. This is going to head on over. This is in Chancellor, for example, at 3:20. So again, this is in place until 3:30. If you're in Lenox, 3:26. Atlas Corner, 3:27. Irene, even before that, at 3:24. Viborg, 3:23. Again, not really taking its time moving on over to the east, so time is ticking down in terms of getting stuff either secured if it's outside or bringing it in if at all possible, and just getting inside in general.
A couple things here. Emergency management in McCook County reporting 80-mile-an-hour winds, or at least estimated 80-mile-an-hour winds, along with wind-driven small hail, P to quarter size. Matt, can we go back to Lynx 1, please? We're now watching the storm coming into the Sioux Falls area. That's what the line looks like as it comes in from the west. The backside of that, as I just mentioned, Spencer, South Dakota, they estimated 80-mile-an-hour winds there and small hail, but of course it was wind-driven hail as a result of those very strong winds. Just a few minutes ago, we did have a traffic sensor out by the Mitchell area report some winds gusting in excess of 70 miles per hour. And that's what's coming towards Sioux Falls. Brian's looking out now from Falls Park out to the west, and that is a line of thunderstorms that comes on in.
Yes, it is. So obviously right now is the time to get to a place of shelter as these storms come through from the west. Obviously, we've been tracking some very strong winds, and when we're talking winds of 80 miles per hour, we're talking hurricane force like winds at times in these storm cells, and we continue to see evidence of that storm cell that's moved through that Spencer-Salem area. This is right now at 8 minutes after the hour. I would highly say at least a strong confidence that this is the worst part of it, is this inflow notch and all of this going on right around Salem. Now the question is, where is that going to end up as we get, you know, a little bit farther down the line towards Sioux Falls? Because at this point, it looks very likely that that segment's going to go into Minnehaha County.
I think we just got that tornado warning that just came in.
Yep.
This is for McCook and Minnehaha County until 3:45 p.m. This is near Salem, 14 miles northwest of Lake Vermilion recreational area, east at 30. So you are going to see that populate basically right where you have yourself zoomed in right now.
Right,
so
that
again,
little notch right there. That's the area.
there it is. Radar indicated rotation. Again, that is the key verbiage here. Tornado warning for portions of McCook and Minnehaha County, just barely east of Salem, including the Montrose area. If you are even outside of this warning toward Colton, you guys need to get ready to seek shelter.
Okay, and this is, again, just outside the city of Sioux Falls to the northwest, but it is definitely the area we're most concerned about, given the junction point of all this tremendous heat being ingested. Now, if you look at this picture, do you see that notch that flows in there? And Jay, you're
this one right here.
You bet. Yep. Pointing that out, and that's what's flowing right in to that circulation point, and it is a spot that traditionally you can get spin-ups. You could get a tornado to form in this section right there, and I would say right now that's well warranted as these winds. Now again, these are new updates. They're just coming in. Let's see what we've got here. And there's some big numbers on the screen. You know, those are winds being measured toward the radar. This green patch is all air that's rushing this direction from Salem to Montrose. It's coming in at 2,000 feet at that 87-mile-an-hour wind gust. Okay, so that's off the ground, 2,000 feet. So if you think about that, you know, a little less than a half a mile up into the air, but it's still reasonably low enough here that this kind of wind, even if it's non-tornadic, it's going to produce hurricane force wind gusts within that area. So we want to be extra clear about that. And you know what? Frankly, looking at this too, you know, there's little spots even around this Montrose and Humboldt area that look a little suspicious there too. And you have to remember that can happen when we look at a line like that. What I usually look for are these little notches. Here's one right.
The National Weather Service in Sioux Falls has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Minnehaha County and southeastern South Dakota, northeastern McCook County and southeastern South Dakota, until 3:45 p.m. At 3:08 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Salem, or 14 miles northwest of Lake Vermilion State Recreation Area, moving east at 30 miles an hour. Hazard, tornado and quarter-size hail. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Montrose around 3:20 p.m. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. This cluster of thunderstorms is capable of producing tornadoes and widespread significant wind damage. Do not wait to see or hear the tornado. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 3:45 p.m. for the following counties in South Dakota, McCook and Minnehaha.
Side, I would say probably that's the #1 threat. If you live just a little north of Sioux Falls right now, make sure you are getting into your place of safety, because as we've seen historically this spring and now summer, a lot of storms with a lot of wind, and how powerful that can become very quickly.
Yeah, these big walls of wind can often create more damage than a tornado, just because of the sheer size of it. And that's what's coming towards Sioux Falls right now. Again, the northern part of Minnehaha County, the northwest corner plus northeastern corner of McCook County, up around Salem and points to the east. That's where you have a tornado warning, because there's a bit of spin there. The broader area of thunder is coming our way with that wall of wind we've talked about. It seems like so often this year. Have a look at Kelo and Live Doppler. We're looking at the actual winds within the storm, and the greens, that's wind moving towards Sioux Falls, and it is moving quickly. We just got another report at 3:02. There was another wind gust measured out near Mitchell of over 70 miles an hour. So these winds are coming on through, and they are quite strong. Let's go and take a look at. We're actually able to watch these using our live cam network. Is this Parker again, Brian?
Yep, that's Parker right now. Again, that's in the. They're on the leading edge of that segment of the storm, and while we're
to see and flights to catch.
3:45. We'll continue to crawl the pertinent information across the bottom of the screen, and we will break back in as soon as we get some more information for you as these storms continue to move on through the Dakota News Now coverage area. So stay with us.
Casino.
Say big on your bathroom project.
Falls. And this is going to be probably the thing with this particular round of storms, is the atmosphere is so thick with humidity, it obscures some of the details. So again, pardon me, this one's going to spin there, but this is Gregory. Now this wind out near Gregory, there's been a lot of post-storm wind that's been going on that direction. You mentioned before, Jay, we've had even non-thunderstorm wind gusts of 60 miles per hour there. And then the downtown live camera looks like this. Again, a lot of dark skies. Watching that kind of creeping into the west side of Sioux Falls in the next half hour, even less than that here, the way the timeline is looking.
Yeah, it's coming on. And we can actually see the leading edge of that wall of wind coming in right now, where the skies are darkest in the western sky. That's where it's coming in from, and we can certainly see it on the radar. That's what it looks like coming into Sioux Falls right now. The area in red, that's where we have the strongest winds, and the northern part of that, that's where we have, it looks like some de-aliasing area there. We also have a problem with a tornado warning in effect for the far northeastern corner of McCook County and the northwestern quarter of Minnehaha County. That's where we have the tornado warning. Kind of now near the Montrose area is probably where we're seeing that spinning, that circulation, possibly a second area on the north side of that, up along the northern county line in McCook County. But everything's moving in an easterly, perhaps slightly southeasterly direction.
Yeah, very strong storm here this afternoon. So again, tornado warning remaining in effect for the northeastern McCook County area until 3:45, and this also includes far northwestern Minnehaha County until 3:45. The Sioux Falls area not included yet on the tornado warning. However, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect as we speak, and that's for the straight line wind threat there that exists and will continue to exist here as these storms move through. Here's another piece of just overall information here, and I know folks are trying to get home, and that's clearly obvious on 41st Street right now. We need you to get probably where you're going to go, get that done in the next, I wouldn't wait much more than 15 or 20 minutes. We don't want to have a lot of traffic on these roads because we all experienced that on May 12th. There are so many stories, people being caught in storms, and results, it's not at all what we want. That's a very dangerous thing, so we want you to finish up wherever you're at. Again, these are our live traffic cameras here in Sioux Falls as we speak, and I know that these storms are approaching fairly quickly. We should do another storm tracker on that too, by the way, as that line comes on in.
Go ahead and do that. I mean, it's going to be in Sioux Falls within the next 10 minutes. So it's coming in the western part of the city right now. Wall Lake, those areas right now, getting the winds starting to come up. And it's just a question where the strongest, most destructive winds occur, and it's going to be somewhere in that area that Brian was just showing you on the screen. These things have been soaring along, so coming through Sioux Falls within just the next few minutes.
Yeah, we've got T there at 321, Viborg 322. Looking at this analysis, let me bring up, I've got another list product here I can bring up here on your screen here. So the number one, yeah, okay, so filling this top spot there is the Empire Mall. 27. So think of that. It's 318 right now. So if you wait any more than 10 minutes, you're going to be out in that, and we would really rather you not be, given the severity of these storms, especially that northern flank that's running there across, that's going to be running across the northern half of Minnehaha County. That in particular, when you're dealing with that type of destructive wind and tornado threat in the rain, you cannot see that. That will be obscured, very likely. So if we're getting tornado activity in here, it's going to be almost impossible to see some of that. Montrose, there's a spot. Humboldt, there's another spot. Again, that one probably not as suspect, but it's something we're watching. And we've been seeing a lot of winds channeling in on the backside of that. Doppler radar in the last 5 to 10 minutes, we've been seeing some of these wind gusts well in excess of hurricane force winds within this segment between Salem and Montrose. So again, looking at the lapse of the radar, this tells us a lot. As you can see the trajectory, see how that kind of takes that line to Crooks and probably gets into the northern part of Sioux Falls, pretty likely on the worst side of that, but definitely to the north, looking at that swath in here where this is going to get, again, pretty rough within the next half hour. And if you're on the west side of Sioux Falls, you've got probably 10 minutes. Right now our time is 3:19, and it's coming in pretty quickly here. Rotation detector too here, Jay. Again, that's another product we can look at that spinning in the cloud layer and see how that's coming along too.
Yeah, this is kind of a special product we have with one of our weather systems. I did just want to show you this because Brian was just talking about where is this thing going. It is moving in an easterly direction, but we may be seeing some of that coming towards Sioux Falls. That's something we've got to keep an eye on as well. Let's watch that thing just come into Sioux Falls, because we're going to have very strong winds coming in from the west, perhaps from the northwest as well. That's something else we want to keep an eye on. But we're going to be seeing some very strong winds coming through Sioux Falls here just within the next few minutes.
Yeah, that's obviously a really darkening sky there to the west, and everything is coming in pretty quickly at the storm speeds that we've been witnessing at 50, maybe a little bit higher than that on the wind speed. So it is definitely worth continuing to watch that. I see that.
Yeah, they just extended the severe thunderstorm warning to basically cover the rest of Minnehaha County, Lincoln County as well. They've also gone into Lyon and Sioux County in Iowa, Nobles and Rock County in Minnesota. Then for the South Dakota counties, it's Hanson, Hutchinson, Lincoln, McCook, Minnehaha, Turner, and Yankton until 4:15 p.m. So 70+ mile per hour gusts, ping pong ball sized hail. Not out of the question as well. This is going to continue to race to the east. I'll get a velocity for you in just a moment. East at 50. So they're keeping with the eastward velocity of this line as it pushes toward I-29.
Okay, so lots of vantage points to keep track of the weather this afternoon. We'll keep bouncing back to some of these live cameras. Again, as Jay, you're mentioning here right now, these winds. And if you look at the wall of wind right now, I'm going to do a couple of things here. I wanted to bring up, first of all, on our Beersford radar, let me bring up this view just for the moment here. And again, this is going to just tighten up our view a little bit across the area of Sioux Falls. You can see just right now the leading edge of the wind and what's going on near Davis. See this little line? You can see the actual little blue line right on the edge of the main line. So you've got all the heavy rain back behind us, but it looks like coming right on the edge of Lincoln County right now, the Turner County line, and then you can follow that all the way up to Hartford, where again we kind of tie up with all this rotation that's going on, and what's been probably the worst part, and it's still there. There's no question. Even this latest scan,
that notch there, isn't
that notch right there, that is a classic signature of some really strong winds. Things are flowing up into the storm. One little product we have, and I haven't shown this one yet, but let me do this quickly. This is our 3D product, where we draw a box here on the screen right over the tornado warning area, and then you can see we got a lot of mass going on there. There's a lot internally going on, but let me do this here. Okay, see this here? You can see this little channel of green right there at the bottom of the screen, and then look above that. Look at all of that stuff that's overhanging in there. There's a tremendous amount of product. That's a lot of ice accumulation, probably some of your hail initially. Now, whether or not that hail is getting to the ground, that's another question. We've been looking at that. The hail tracker's not as impressed. So that's probably, obviously, that's a good thing. We don't need hail. We're probably getting mostly raindrops where we're scanning a little lower, but there's a lot of wind here. That's going to be your #1 concern. Our wind tracker is still giving us pause here for just watching that. Jay, you're watching our live camera here.
Yeah, let's go back to the live cam, BK. We're starting to shelf out there. There's a little bit of lightning off in the distance, but here comes that wind. It's coming right on into Sioux Falls from the west.
Yeah, and certainly a lot going on. I know we've got a couple of other cameras. I wonder to see if by chance we have, well, we probably don't have this one yet, but I know Wagner, we were checking in on that earlier. We had a view from Parker, and then everything here to the northwest has been just kind of some old-fashioned wind now behind the main storm line. So as some of these cameras come back online, we'll be able to kind of track that for you. At the present moment, bringing up our threat tracker once again, it looks like there's just a considerable amount of wind here going on. These numbers, we like to bring these up to speed here. This is where Hartford is. You can see the channel of wind that's coming in near Montrose. Boy, still some big numbers out there. That wind is channeling in there over 80 miles per hour. Now, this is of particular concern because we want to watch exactly where that goes. Let me back up the radar view here for just a moment. And if you look at this, again, this is where it was at about, let's look at the time. That was 2:58, so that was just about a half an hour ago. And now that pocket of wind, you can see now has expanded a little bit here. So it certainly looks to me like following Interstate 90 coming in from west of Sioux Falls. Looks pretty likely.
Yeah, can you pop up the live cam there, Brian? Let's just watch this thing coming into Sioux Falls. While we're watching this, Adam, you had something to report?
Yeah, further south and west, they've also been seeing a decent bit of wind out of this line out of Bonham County of Springfield, a report of 77-mile-per-hour gusts on the southern flank of that line. So they've also been seeing a decent bit as well.
Yeah, and that, of course, takes us well to the south and closer to the Missouri River. As we bring that view up here, we've got this extension of severe thunderstorm warnings all the way down through Yankton. There's Bonham. There's the Springfield area. You can see to Niobrara. Several hot spots on radar, and this whole line, again, likely moving to the southeast. And these warning boxes, I would expect, will continue to be expanded farther to the southeast. So if you're in Beersford, Vermilion, Elk Point, prepare for this line as well.
Northwest Iowa.
Yes, and Northwest Iowa is actually even getting new storms popping up. In fact, we even had a new one flaring up near Slayton. We've got a whole nother warning over here toward Murray County. A number of warnings are occurring at this point.
That's for 1.25 inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, and look how fast that's popped up, too. I mean, this was 241, and now here we are. We got warning boxes there. Again, I'm drawing this in here. As I'm looking at the Bow Echo features. When I say Bow Echo, I'm going to draw this line in. There it is. And then we're going to run another line this direction. So we're going to cross it perpendicular, okay? And the worst of the weather typically is going to be to the left. So it's going to be on this side, which of course is where Sioux Falls is.
Right. Hey, Brian, yep. let's just watch on live cam as a line of thunderstorms comes into Sioux Falls, because it's now in the western part of the area. I'm sure up by Wall Lake and places like that. This is coming on in right now, and here she comes. The only question is how fast the winds are going to be. There's some lightning out there, maybe some hail as well. The whole thing coming in from the west, and so you can expect to see those winds pick up very soon here. Western Sioux Falls, then moving to the central part of the city. The gray line there, that's the leading edge. That's where the winds are coming down out of, coming in from the west. And very strong winds are now moving into the Sioux Falls area. There's some lightning, maybe some hail. We'll have to keep an eye on this area. Maybe some hail coming out of these. That's the area that did produce the warning up in the northeastern, northwestern part of Minnehaha County.
They did extend that warning down to basically include the rest of southeastern South Dakota. Just put a new one out.
Sure.
Clay, Union, and Yankton County in South Dakota, Plymouth and Sioux in Iowa, and Dixon County in Nebraska. That's until 4:30 p.m. per hour gusts are possible. With that portion of the line, that's moving southeast at 40 miles per hour. So if you're out toward the Beersford area, you've got maybe 15 to 20 minutes before this heads your way.
Brian, let's go back to the live cam, please.
There we go, and you can see this feature Jay's talking about right there. There's a lowering in there. Certainly watching that. That's we're looking to the northwest of Sioux Falls as we speak in this area right in here. Again, that's on the wall, the leading edge of this storm line right now. So as it approaches the city, it's going to produce a lot of wind. Obviously, there could be some hail. That's still something we're tracking. It has gone down some on that. So if you're curious about that angle of the storm, yes, there's at least some encouragement there, but we want to be careful about that because these things have a way of changing quickly. But an ominous, almost a green looking sky in there. And, you know, traditionally, too, some of that green can be an indicator of more hail. But at this point, I know we had one report of that at least a little earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And let's just watch. We can see it easier here than we can on the radar, frankly.
Yep, and this part here to the northwest, that's, again, right where that lowering, the cloud base is a little lower there.
Yeah, that's
to the northwest.
That's something that is a concern if we get some kind of spin up there. So.
Yep, and it looks to me like at this point, that area, again, it looks like everything is rotating pretty strongly. It looks like that warning is going to continue for another 15 minutes for northwestern Minnehaha County. Tornado warning in effect. So please, in those areas, we want you in your basement. It's important that you take shelter immediately as the storm line has had a history of producing some strong winds.
A storm spotter we know says that near Spencer there were multiple tree branches 2 to 4 inches in diameter removed and on the ground. So this thing is producing some damage as it comes on through. That's the business part of it. What you see, the darkest part of your screen, that's the part that did produce some problems in Spencer. Let's show the radar, but just briefly, okay, Brian? I'll send it over to you.
Yep, okay, so regrouping, and again, this is where we're looking at things right now with our Beersford radar scan. Again, a line of severe thunderstorms with one section that's under a tornado warning right now. That's northwestern Minnehaha County and northeastern McCook County right in here. Again, that section is now advancing farther east, so I think that as that threat kind of migrates, we will see more statements pertaining to this segment of the storm line as that moves on in. Again, into Sioux Falls. Right now, the southwestern side of the city is currently experiencing some of these strong winds. Ominous sky, obviously here, this live camera, we've been watching kind of this little section. This is from downtown, looking here to the northwest, and that little lowering right in there, that's still a spot that looks to me like, again, it certainly has all the ingredients here for rotation. We'll see if we see anything visually there, Jay, but right now, very threatening sky and obviously the wind that goes with it.
Yeah, let's stay on this view for a little bit because this is if you're just watching, if you're just tuning in, the reason we're on the air, we've had a line of destructive thunderstorms come through eastern South Dakota during the day today. We've already had wind gusts as high as 96 miles an hour at the airport in Huron. In the Mitchell area, we had wind gusts measured over 70 miles per hour. There have been reports of damage, and there are reports of power outages in places like Beetle County. The Cavor area suffered some damage. The Miller area had some power outages, and now that line of thunderstorms that moves to the south, giving us a wall of wind as it comes into the Sioux Falls area. We have a tornado warning that's in effect for the northwestern corner of Minnehaha County, and now we have this.
Well, we have the extension of these severe thunderstorm warnings for western Pipestone, Moody, Lake, and Minor counties, all now within a destructive severe thunderstorm warning for 80-mile-an-hour winds and half-dollar-size hails. So, unfortunately, the hail threat has come back to some degree, and let's continue to watch that section of the storm there north of Sioux Falls in particular.
In other words, the dark part that you're seeing on your screen there, that's what's moving to the east, and that's the extension of the warning for that particular area. You see some lightning there, the green sky now over Sioux Falls, and I do believe we've got some strong winds there now being picked up on the horizon there.
Yep.
The leading tree line.
If you look right in there, there it is. That's the wind, and that's blowing some dust or some sort of an element there. This is now panning down to the west. This is all kind of a wall coming into the city of Sioux Falls right now. So again, lightning flashes there, but it's just a matter of a few minutes before it gets to the downtown area as we're watching live severe weather going into the Sioux Falls area as we speak. And there's 41st Street. And yes, the wind is hitting 41st Street quite strongly now. We're zooming in here with our live camera network. You can see this is looking at Shirley Avenue. And obviously traffic there, well, boy, we'd want you to be in shelter with this thing blowing through now. Obviously, these storms are going to have a lot of wind and can pick up and create flying debris pretty quickly as history of...
There's some pretty heavy rain there as well. Here's the broader area that storms that moves into downtown Sioux Falls coming in from the west. Now we have strong winds and probably some rain right here on the horizon. This is the part of the storm which we expect to see a long line of strong winds as it comes right into downtown Sioux Falls. So we'll just keep an eye on that as it pushes on in. What are you seeing for velocities on there, Brian?
Yeah, we're still getting 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts on Doppler on this scan near Montrose, but frankly, all the way north to Howard. You know, and that's why that northern tier, when you look at Highway 34 and you kind of look back in that belt near Winfred and Orland and what's eventually going to cross over to Madison, that's a pretty mean segment there, too, where this is very strong.
80, 85 mile per hour gusts, at least based on velocity scans.
Here it comes. You can see the wall of wind there on the left-hand side of your screen. Now coming into the city from the west. Right here, that's the leading edge of it. It's pushing right on into Sioux Falls right now. Probably some destructive winds there, and yeah, here that comes. Probably some. Well, we know some heavy rain. That's what we're already seeing down on 41st Street. So we're actually able to see different angles from different parts of Sioux Falls. Yeah, if you want to pop that real quick, that's what it looks like down on 41st Street. No, it is not nighttime. That is daytime. You can see sheets of rain now being blown along by the strong winds. Let's go back to downtown because you can be seeing that coming right into through the center of downtown right now. There we go. And here it comes on in. The trees are already starting to move around with the strong gusty winds that pushes into the Sioux Falls area at the moment. Do we have any reports coming in?
No, I haven't seen any reports that have come in. The only new thing that came around was the severe thunderstorm warning on the northern edge toward Minor and Moody counties. But I've been watching the velocity scans on links too, and still just seeing some incredible wind speeds, and also noticing north of Humboldt. If we can go over, bring up velocity on.
Let's
Sioux
wait.
Falls,
let's wait right now if we can.
There's probably a new tornado developing near
north of Humboldt.
3 miles north of Humboldt right now. I would be strongly suspecting that that area of the tornado warning is redeveloping as we speak. So again, within these storms, it's hard to see. That's an area that would likely be obscured by that heavy rain. So be sure to make sure that, yes, you're in the tornado warning.
Stand by, Brian. Let's show that for about 10 seconds here.
All right, here we go. And this is, again, looking at velocity data. And this area right there near Montrose, just to the east of Montrose, right here is where we think there's a good deal of rotation going on. So if you're in, and frankly, looking at how this is developing and moving to the southeast, it looks like, again, it would probably skirt just north of Hartford. So there's still a tornado warning in effect for about another 8 minutes for that portion of Minnehaha County. We'll see if that gets extended, Jay.
All right, here's what it looks like in downtown Sioux Falls now. Heavy rain coming through with a lot of wind, and that's what it looks like right now just outside of downtown. That's at 14th and Minnesota. So we have the heavy rain, we have the strong winds, and let's have a look at what the bigger picture looks like. Now we've turned from day to night here in the Sioux Falls area. The sky was green. Now it's just mostly dark with the winds coming on through. Strong winds and some heavy rainfall. And that's what we have right now. Any other reports out of there?
Nothing there.
It's been very quiet.
So we're just going to hang tight with what we know here so far. And, of course, as it moves through downtown, we're going to lose some of that visibility on these storms. But, again, the traffic is moving along there at a fairly good clip, you know, at least at this point. But it will be hard to drive. It'll be hard to see much of anything.
What does 41st Street look like?
Yeah, we're getting down to that side of town. And looks like right now that, of course, has been faster. Right? Things have been moving through quickly there.
Just go down.
You can see where we've got probably at least, yeah, some heavy rain. Obviously, you can see the sheets of rain moving across the street there. And again, this is at 41st Street right now with that severe thunderstorm warning ongoing as we speak. And again, the Sioux Falls area likely going to continue to experience some of this strong weather here over the next course of the half hour. And from Falls Park too, a very ominous looking sky, greenish, looking at just kind of a haze there. And of course now all the wind hitting the camera. And we've been seeing the same thing from our Sanford camera in the Midtown Sioux Falls area. Hartford too, to the south of Sioux Falls. We've been watching that camera. Is this whole thing
on the warning that came through? Actually, two updates. First one, they've upped the verbiage on the overarching warning. Put that up to 80-mile-per-hour gust and a ping-pong ball-sized hail possible. That's for the first warning that had come through. The second update is
for the one that includes most of northwest Iowa plus areas east of Sioux Falls. Also in southwest Minnesota.
Upward of golf ball-sized hail with that one.
Okay, that's what it looks like, Brian, from Falls Park up on that tower there. That's our live cam, and she's coming down pretty good.
It is, yep. It's really coming down there, and obviously the sheets of rain and everything else making it hard to see, but it is that. And Harrisburg too looks about like this, not a whole lot different. You can still see the sheets of rain and the wind that's driving all of that this afternoon. Again, that's the best we can show you right now from there. So please sit tight, get into your shelter. We want you to be there. Obviously, this has been advertised now for the last better part of a couple of hours. We've been watching this. And just to remember, too, as these storms come through, tornado activity is still possible. It is severe thunderstorm warning, but we want to make sure that 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts are, again, possible with this at times, and also ping-pong ball-size hail is a possibility. So 78-mile-an-hour wind gusts reported just north of Humboldt. So that report coming in here, just here within the last 5 to 10 minutes. Again, you're talking close to 80-mile-an-hour winds there just north of Humboldt. So that's still coming towards Sioux Falls. That has not made it here yet.
Yeah, that was that northern part of the storm, the kind of the meat of the squall line, if you will. That's where we did have the tornado warning that was in effect. So That's the part of the storm cell which we suspected was producing the greatest damage and greatest problems at the present time. There's a look at downtown Sioux Falls, Washington Pavilion in the foreground there. And again, diminished visibility. We have a severe thunderstorm warning, but not your average severe thunderstorm warning. Much of the line of thunderstorms have produced winds in excess of 70 miles an hour. The strongest gust so far at Huron Airport, 96 miles per hour. Have had some small hail in this as well. And as a result of that, some damage has also been occurring. We're collecting things. Brian and Adam, you're looking at something. I'm going to pop you on there and tell us what you're looking at.
Yeah, we are looking at some velocity scans of wind gusts from this storm in the Montrose and Humboldt area. We're getting those radar estimates upward of 85 to almost 90 mile per hour winds up along that portion of I-90, and that's only at an elevation of a little over 1,000 feet. So that's not too far off the ground. We're getting winds of that velocity in the area. So again, this is very, very destructive wind that's moving along the I-90 corridor, heads up toward Hartford. This is going to begin to knock on your door pretty soon.
Yep. And Brian, I'll pop it over to you. You're seeing some playing some ping pong ball there. It looks like
there's the ping pong ball size hail hitting our roof here at our studios in downtown Sioux Falls. See those little white streaks there?
Wind-driven hail. You don't like to see wind-driven hail. We've had a lot of times where people have lost windows and stuff like that because the hail is being pushed along by very strong winds, and that's look straight down. You can see the hailstones now hitting in downtown Sioux Falls.
Yeah, just zooming in. You can see those freckles of white there. So again, that's another thing. You're just hearing that from our downtown vantage point. Let me bring the camera view around here to 14th Street. Again, folks are still out and about. They probably need to be in their shelter as what's hailing now in downtown Sioux Falls. Obviously, these storms have a history of producing wind and hail, and I have to tell you, some of these recent Doppler scans west of Sioux Falls are still very impressive out here toward Humboldt and Montrose. We've been getting frequent scans of anywhere from 70 to 80 mile an hour winds in there, so we're not done yet. As this whole thing comes through the better part of Minnehaha County, there will be more wind to come through the city of Sioux Falls.
Right now, we're looking at the thunder, the lightning, the hailstones that are falling right now downtown Sioux Falls, and there's, as Brian said, we're going to have some stronger winds pushing through here as well. The wind is not just it's not going to be just the quick gust front and then we're done. Looks like strong winds wrapping around the northern part of those that line as it moves through the area. I'll just pop this around here. Did you guys want to show some of those velocity numbers in a second?
Yeah, let's do that for a moment as we're kind of scanning that part near Humboldt and Montrose right now.
And again, what they're looking at is winds within the clouds. So this is off the ground. This is above the ground, not necessarily all reaching it to the ground, but really impressive numbers, and some of that maybe mixing down.
Yeah, that 83 mile per hour reading, for example, that's a little under 800 feet off the ground.
So that's pretty low to the ground.
Yeah.
This in here, yes, is very concerning because you've got a lot of wind that's channeling right above the ground layer. Obviously, these kind of winds here, we're going to watch and see how much of this becomes a problem. We just had a report just north of Humboldt here of that 78 mile an hour wind gust there. I know the west side of Sioux Falls has already reported 60 mile an hour winds. We can hear the hail on the rooftop of the studios downtown. So again, that's kind of the leading edge of some of that. This whole thing pieces together. I should clarify too, it is now 3:45, so that tornado warning just should go off the screen if they're going to allow that one to expire.
They just did.
And there it went. Yep. Okay. So here's the setup. Let's regroup a little bit here. Kind of bring that broader perspective out if we can here, Adam.
Yep.
Severe thunderstorm warnings continue up here to the north through the Moody County, Minor County areas, Lake County. Watching that swath of the storm. We have a separate cell just to the northeast of Pipestone. That one is also large, but it's on its own. And then we have this line of very strong winds and hail going all the way down to Yankton and northeast Nebraska. Within this whole line segment, there are going to be 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts at times, and occasionally right through the Sioux Falls area, probably getting a little more than that. As I speak, that hail is getting louder on the rooftops here in downtown Sioux Falls.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. In fact, the hail, the wind now coming through Sioux Falls, a fairly large hail. Fortunately, it's not wind-driven sideways. It's mostly coming straight down because of its size. But coming on through right now, you can't really see it there in the parking lot. But
and one thing about these storms, obviously, there's a long way to go here. As you see them how they're falling there. You can see them going by once in a while. They'll kind of just go right by the live tower cam here from downtown. So, again, we'll just kind of check back in on that as that story changes. But Madison, let's go up here. Take a look at that.
Wow.
You've got
like the
wind,
Great Lakes.
and you've got strong, strong winds moving that camera. Again, that's Madison 1. And let me bring up the other view from Madison. We've got another vantage point there as we scroll down through the list here and see if we can get a connection. And we
do. We have it.
Yep. And so, yes, that area, Madison, your Lake County area, strong straight line winds here, too, this afternoon. So please be advised of that. Wagner, this is the other section of that storm line down into that area. And, of course, they've already experienced some of this. I will tell you, Parker, we lost connection to Parker's, so we must have a power outage with that cell or that part of the storm. Here's Sioux Falls and Falls Park again right now. A little better vantage point there. Nothing is really as intense. And then one more time back to Sioux Falls, and let's go to Phillips Avenue right now. We'll kind of view there downtown Sioux Falls, and again the rain is coming. The Keloland Live Doppler HD network has been showing a very strong line of storms, and obviously all of this today just feeding off of this high heat, high humidity. So all of that comes in line, and there again, those very strong winds. As we take the laps off, let's see what's going on near Hartford right now. This is what really is getting our attention. Big numbers close to the radar, and again, that has not arrived in Sioux Falls yet. So right now, the wind, as you can attest to on this live cam, not a big deal. Yeah, and then of course we've got some wind that's pushed through initially, but in this particular case, yes, what's coming into the west of Sioux Falls, there's Hartford, there's Humboldt. This is just a lot of wind, and it's being registered just a few hundred feet off the ground. So it's pretty likely that some of this is racing across, or at least some of it getting into the area west of Sioux Falls. So again, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning that covers a large section of southeast Keloland. A large grouping of counties, if you will, are included with that, and many of them in this wind gust or these destructive word headlines involved with that.
Adam, take a look at power outages if you can pixel query some of those.
Yep, so this is basically looking at estimates of number of individuals without power in a given county. You notice 4,000 estimated without power in Beadle County over toward Huron, a couple hundred further south there, getting back up to 1,000 further south of Huron toward Mitchell. Yep, Davison County,
the Mitchell area, and Huron, the Beadle County area, both, Beadle County, 4,000 customers without power and 1,000 without in the Mitchell area.
Yeah, that's just based on pure numbers.
That's pure numbers. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's they've got a lot of problems there as far as wind is concerned. Let's take a look at the big picture again, so we can take a look at this thing as it's moving off into Minnesota now. Severe thunderstorm warning continue, where you see those yellow boxes, and they're moving off to the east. That trend is going to continue as well for the next several minutes. Here's the way it looks. It is now taking on an easterly direction. We have been getting a lot of strong winds also reported the southern flank of that storm system. As it moves, it kind of parallels the lower Missouri River Valley. So we have some issues down there as well as a result of strong winds that have been falling. Also, some hail reports down there, or at least hail potential down the lower Missouri River Valley. And here's the Sioux Falls area. Now the storm starting to move into northwest Iowa and southwest Minnesota. We already have this existing kind of right along the Buffalo Ridge area off toward Tracy, Slayton, Minnesota. That's where we have an existing severe thunderstorm warning. And hail and winds, again, the issue being mentioned there. As far as tornadoes, no tornado warnings are in effect at the present time. The most recent one was the one for the northwestern corner of Minnehaha County and the northeastern part of McCook County. That is now done. That's what was that red box you saw right there. That's now done. And now we're watching the wall of wind and the pockets of hail making their way to the east.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that, these pockets of wind and hail. The cameras, again, that's Lake Madison right now. And, yep, it is definitely choppy waters there today as that storm line is moving through that area right now. Some of these winds have been clocked well over 60, but gusts certainly could be higher than that, where we're not necessarily hearing of things just yet. But obviously, as you know, the weather can change very quickly, and things changing around with that. That's a live view from our Harrisburg camera. Again, just kind of panning around there a little bit, looking at that line of heavy rain and the wind that's with it. And over on 41st Street, too. Again, right now looking at just the wind and where things have come through. But that first line of wind, obviously making its way through Sioux Falls. Now we'll see what channels in here from the west. Obviously, on the big view here, this is our downtown camera, kind of looking there to the northwest, and certainly still seeing a lot of dark skies, and certainly this storm front still moving through.
And this is a little unlike the what we had for the derecho earlier. When we had the derecho came through, it was the wall of wind and done, and we're still seeing quite strong winds on the back side of that one. So this is not a matter of we came through with the rain and the hail and now we're finished. We still have very strong winds. As Brian's looking at again, the green colors you see there, and especially the bright green colors, those are the strongest winds moving toward Sioux Falls. And that color you see there, Brian, you're trying to say that we have at least some hail potential.
Yep, a little bit of hail in there. Again, that's what we've been hearing from downtown, these little spots of pink and purple there indicating that. Obviously, the hail tracker at one point here was a lot more wound up. When you look back in the history, you go back before 2 o'clock this afternoon, we had a lot of dark gray or charcoal colors there back toward the Huron area.
Hot bench.
Kellogg's cinnamon roll.
This is going to affect the evening rush and then work its way through Iowa into Wisconsin and into Illinois later on for tonight. So some super soakers can be expected with this heavy downpours. So we do have the risk of flash flooding in addition to all that. Now, we also have some severe weather here into the mid-Atlantic. We had a tornado warning in effect earlier over
those winds actually much stronger than we got with that original wall of wind and hail and rain. So the strongest winds are actually to come on the backside of that leading edge of the storm.
Yeah, very strong winds still being indicated here. Obviously, as this whole line moves through, there's some good rain. That's the one good thing about this. We're finally getting some rain. I know many of you are pleased with that, and this is a solid line of thunderstorms certainly going through. Obviously, it extends all the way down to Yankton. We are also here just covering the volume of severe thunderstorm warnings. We have so many here. We can start Cedar County, Nebraska, Clay County, South Dakota till 4:30, Union County till 4:30, Lincoln County till 4:15. Folks in Lyon County, Iowa, 4:15 on severe thunderstorm warning there. Northwestern Sioux County until 4:15. We also have a separate storm. By the way, this one near Lake Wilson and Chandler has a little hook on it.
That's interesting, isn't it? But
yep, and that is a severe thunderstorm warning for Murray County.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not classically organized, but it's. Yeah, ominous looking, isn't it?
There's definitely.
Can you hit the velocity there, Brian?
You bet. Well, let's take a look at we're looking at the winds internally there. And we do have some of that going on just right in here. Again, it's not a tornado warning, but we are watching some spin in the atmosphere, at least right now, near Chandler. We'll see if that ends up becoming something more than a severe thunderstorm warning. But I did notice
There's something going on there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's of course ahead of the main line, so it's got that also working at least in its favor right now as it strengthens. The bottom line is from Del Rapids all the way through Canton and Beersford, a line of strong thunderstorms still ongoing as we speak. And these arrows are depicting kind of the storm movement there. We should do another storm tracker on this. I think that would be a wise idea as we regroup here this afternoon for this line of severe thunderstorms. And the latest track here, movement of this whole line is to the east-southeast at about that 50-mile-an-hour range. So that's been pretty consistent. That puts it through Hills, Minnesota, through about 4 o'clock. Lester, Iowa, 401, and Beaver Creek, 402. Vermilion, 402 is the leading edge of that. And for our folks down in northwest Iowa, we're likely going to continue to see that as well. As I bring up, and we'll select a few more counties and towns here. Jasper, Minnesota, 405. Dune, Iowa, 406. Hardington, and that's down in Nebraska here, 406. Rock Rapids, Iowa, 411. And Hull, Iowa at 413. Again, that's a line of severe thunderstorms. And latest here, as the National Weather Service has maintained those severe thunderstorm warnings, many of these are still in that phrasing of a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. I see now near and east of Larchwood, a spotter report of a funnel cloud. We'll see if that continues to develop. Again, that was just something crossing our indicators here. Also, obviously, here with the time at hand, the latest update as of about 3 minutes ago. So again, the extension on the warning is going to continue. 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts reported at Hartford at 3:51. That reported 6 minutes ago at 3:53. 85-mile-an-hour wind reported 4 minutes ago at Wall Lake.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's west of Sioux Falls. Yep, you're talking just west of town. And that's what we've been scanning. We just got a report of 85-mile-an-hour wind. 85 to 90 now reported by a National Weather Service employee at Wall Lake area. Just crossing here, that came down the line here about 30 seconds ago. We've got some wind here.
That's the backside of that thing.
Yep, and it is strong. It really is. This whole thing out here toward Hartford and connecting the dots. If you look at Wall Lake on the map, that's going to be a little bit south in this area here as we're looking at the map. So again, this whole section, that's the problem. If we have that kind of wind moving into the Sioux Falls area, that's going to create a lot of problems. We'll see how that holds together. It may or may not do that, but that's what we know right now, that out at Wall Lake, they've got 85 to 90-mile-an-hour winds right now as we speak.
Watch that. The area in the brightest green, that's what you're looking for here. Brightest green, and it's coming into Sioux Falls.
Yeah, and clearly with these kind of downburst type events, you know, you can see that too, where these pockets can suddenly kind of collapse like that. So for whatever is driving that type of wind out there, that is definitely information that we think is warranting definitely some headlines here. So don't necessarily consider this to be, you know, just because it's a severe thunderstorm warning, not as intense as a tornado warning, but that's not necessarily true. And these winds are crossing into Sioux Falls. At least let's look at that 41st Street camera again, Jay. Is that probably is going to be our first one that we're going to see here, looking at some wind. Now, right now, not too bad. Again, that's likely all just west of there, so we're not seeing much yet. But just because we've had the first line of wind come through, it doesn't mean we're done. And again, those reports were just coming in about 4 or 5 minutes ago to the west of Sioux Falls near Wall Lake.
The first line of winds has come in. I'm just going to kind of use my cursor to show you. You can see that it's still breezy with those with the trees there. So I mean, it's certainly not calm, and we do expect to see that strengthening up here in the next few minutes.
All right, this is live weather coverage. Is now 4 o'clock. You're watching KELOLAND TV live severe weather coverage. This is what we're tracking right now into the city of Sioux Falls, or at least on the edge toward Wall Lake and to the west. We've had some wind gusts that have exceeded 80 miles per hour. We will continue to follow these reports, but obviously we've been channeling a lot of this information on Doppler radar here through Hartford.
Just as a woman
Thunderstorm watch is in effect, but the one that's affecting our immediate areas until 7 o'clock tonight for southeastern South Dakota, including Sioux Falls, into southwest Minnesota, northwest Iowa. And then there was one just issued a little further off to the south and east, and parts of this goes until 10 o'clock. But for our concern, this is until 7 o'clock in and around the Sioux Falls vicinity into southwest Minnesota and northwest Iowa. Again, Sioux Falls in a severe thunderstorm warning still until 4:15. Things will be improving here as the evening goes on, as that line of storms
here in Sioux Falls. Want to show you the radar right now and all of the lightning that is associated with this here in Sioux Falls. Again, a vigorous storm in the past 15 minutes. Almost 1,700, almost 1,700 lightning strikes. So a storm that is still packing a big punch. And there is that chance still for 75-mile-an-hour or stronger winds, and also a 2-inch hail, so larger than golf ball size hail, a possibility. And there have already been some reports, history with this storm of that, both the very strong winds, stronger than 90 miles an hour, very large hail as well. Can't rule out a tornado either. And also looking across the southeast and mid-Atlantic for some severe weather. Severe thunderstorm warnings here outlined in yellow. Those are the warnings themselves there in Virginia and North Carolina. And once again, some pop-up storms here in the south, around parts of South Mississippi.
West of Sioux Falls, actually. So in the extension of where the Hartford area, where that's coming down, right in this area. Oops, let me get that again. Right in this area right here, the western part of Sioux Falls. So we still have some stronger winds out there, and they are coming on in. Let's go back to our 41st Street camera, Brian, because that's kind of interesting right there. Look how fast those clouds are moving.
Yeah, those are the clouds. That's, yeah, this is 41st Street, so we're looking west. Interstate 29 is right there in the foreground. This is moving through quickly, and again, that's been the wind that's been the problem. So yes, please take that seriously, folks, as this is crossing into the city of Sioux Falls. That's going to be our first vantage point, is from that particular camera, but it kind of confirms, or at least acknowledges, what we're hearing from our storm spotters out there, that the winds are...
With more on the move, and Angie, what exactly changed?
Well, Sam, Lincoln County Sheriff Steve Swenson had spent days fielding angry phone calls from his deputies after they were denied that 10% pay raise by the...
The way those clouds are moving there on that camera, that is some mean wind there, isn't it?
Yeah, here it comes in from the northeast. Everything wrapping around that first, yeah, look how fast those things are going. So we know at cloud level, we're seeing the strong winds we're seeing on Doppler radar.
Yeah, yep. Obviously, this is the type of wind that 85 mile an hour, you're going to have a lot of tree limbs, you're going to have some power outages. Here it is, just hitting the west side. There are the trees there outside of the Empire Mall, and I'm going to just let that sit there for just a moment as that wind is again racing across the western side of the city. And again, we don't have any more updates on that part of the storm, but I will definitely tell you that the winds are certainly strong enough to create more issues. Even though we've had some of these initial gusts going through, we're getting these follow-up bands that are coming in on the west side of Sioux Falls. And there again, you can see the wind really shaking things up at the moment downtown. So this is looking here as well, and certainly same idea. That wind is a little farther to the west, but it is coming in line with the winds that we've seen this afternoon. Several reports where these winds have been stronger. They've been over 80, and that's hurricane force-like winds here. Just got a new report down in Yankton. They've got a 60, about 59 mile an hour wind gust there at the airport. And we'll continue to relay these as they come into the storm center. Again, as you mentioned too here, Jay, we have now flash flood warnings in effect for portions of southwest Minnesota, Cottonwood, Murray counties. So adding to the mix of things, certainly we want to be aware of torrential rainfall, as that can play out as well here this afternoon. Just a quick update on the velocity, just looking at these scans for the wind product. Let me take the time lapse off here for the moment. I was just kind of curious to see where these numbers are standing right now between Hartford and Ellis.
The Ellis Road.
Yep, it's coming in fairly quickly, and these are some still pretty high numbers there, above or near 70 miles per hour. And again, all of these numbers here coming into the west too are still very high. So we'll see how that all translates down to the ground level.
Let's go back down to 41st Street.
All right, here is that latest view there, and boy, that wind is sure shaking around now, isn't it?
Yeah, those trees are losing battle right now. We're going to have another round of tree cleanup at a minimum out of this, I'm afraid. Pretty widespread strong winds.
Yeah, and obviously right now the winds are really taking effect there. So again, you can just see it for yourself as we're watching that live like you are. And these winds, again, out at Wall Lake have been clocked at about 85 miles per hour. And there's a couple trees there in the foreground. Just wanted to point that out again. You can see for yourself what's going on live. Again, that's one snapshot of one spot that we can evaluate right now. We'll see how these signs hold up. I can see they're shaking around in the wind pretty good. And obviously all of this is happening before our eyes here. So again, these are the strong winds coming through the west side of Sioux Falls right now. And that's getting pretty strong, Jay. When you're looking at that, you know, we're getting at least a 50 to 60, I'm sure, of every bit of that, and if not more. We'll see what happens.
Here come the gusts.
Yep, and these are, again, the pretty sheltered areas, too. I mean, you're talking the middle of, or the west side of Sioux Falls. You get out in the countryside, it can be a lot stronger than that. So
these aren't one-and-done gusts either. This is going to be with us for a few minutes.
Yeah, and again, we don't have the hail here as much as we did, so that at least is some good news, but we're obviously just watching all of this as things have been coming into play on the west side of Sioux Falls this afternoon.
Yeah, and so the winds are the issue. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue for much of southeastern Kelo. We just have a whole lot of wind out there. Had some rain, had some...
Sports when you want it with Dakota News Now. Dakota News Now is sponsored by...
Is slowing down, so big heads up for those of you downstream of this, because this is headed your way. And Chris, this is one of those situations where folks really should be treating the severe thunderstorm warning.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
So much damage, tree falls on, on homes, on power lines, on vehicles, all a possibility.
It can be a life-threatening situation depending on the setup of where you are. It certainly damage and trees coming down is a possibility. We want to show you right now that live stream we were looking at a few moments ago, a live look in South Dakota, and also on the phone. Maybe we'll get to that in a second, but on the phone with that video and this live look here is Brandon Kopic. Brandon, can you give us an idea or just let us know where you are and what you've seen so far?
Well, Chris, I just crossed into Minnesota from South Dakota. I'm actually south of the town of Laverne, Minnesota right now. I'm trying to get a better vantage point here to the south as this storm just continues to intensify. And truly, I think it will meet the criteria for a derecho with how everlasting long this thing has been going.
So where are you in relationship to the storm itself?
I am currently due east of it. I'm only a couple miles east of it, maybe about 5 to 10 miles east of it right now.
And we were peeking at your live camera just a few moments ago, about 4 or 5 minutes ago. Was there a funnel? Was there something coming out of the clouds there off in the distance?
I really couldn't confirm 100%. We were watching it closely. It just was too far to really tell. We were unsure if there was really any connection to the cloud base that would have been able to allow us to discern whether or not it was a tornado or a wind-induced gust-nado.
Have you... Yeah, and we're looking at it again right now off in the distance. That same shot, we had replayed it here from moments ago. And Brandon, have you been in the storm at all? Did you get back out ahead of it? If so, what's it like in it, or have you been ahead of it the whole time?
I got inside the storm. It was actually fairly intense. The winds were very gusty. Thankfully, not too intense that it wasn't blowing trucks over or anything of that sort. But it definitely was intense with 1/4 to inch-and-a-half hail in there, $half-dollar-sized hail. But overall, thankfully, it wasn't that bad.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Weakened a little bit, but now we can see it's re-intensifying as it moves off to the east.
Okay, now I think we're looking at your camera again live. Can you tell us which direction you're looking at? Is that an emergency vehicle there in the distance as well?
Actually, that is my chase partner just up ahead of me in Storm Seeker 3. We are looking south right now off of I-90, just watching the storm as it starts to close into us.
Okay, so what's your plan next?
Just going to continue on eastward on 90, try and stay ahead of it, watch for these quick spin-up circulations. Thankfully, there haven't been that many, but we're hoping it'll just continue to stay mostly a low-profile event in the way of tornadoes, but it's definitely going to be a damaging wind day.
All right, Brandon Kopic, we'll continue to monitor your live feed here as we are continuing to track this storm threat that is ongoing, a very likely threat that there's going to be some very strong winds. Let's go now to Jackie. Jackie.
Storms rolling through New Orleans earlier today. The heavy rain triggering a flash flood warning for parts of the Crescent City.
Other day around here. So here's that line of storms, that bow echo, that shape. It looks like kind of like a backwards C there, and that's moving off to the east now. Looks like the worst of it is now moving away from the Sioux Falls vicinity. And there still is some rain on the back side of this and some gusty wind, but the severe weather threat's really going on just right on the leading edge of this line of storms as it moves on through the area now. Look at all the lightning with this. This has been a very impressive lightning display along with this severe weather that we've had, some heavy rain as well. That continues to move off to the east now, and you see some storms developing out ahead of that main line in northwestern Iowa, southwestern parts of Minnesota, and the slow movement of these storms in, let's say, Cottonwood and Murray County has prompted a flash flood warning. So here's a look at just this mess of polygons. So these are all the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect right now. And just keep your eye on the bottom of the screen. We're scrolling that information across. There's just too many to try to differentiate here, but Sioux Falls still under a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:15, and then see that green polygon there, that's that flash flood warning in addition to that severe thunderstorm warning for Cottonwood and Murray counties there in Minnesota.
Minnehaha County, including Sioux Falls, that is still going to be in place until 5:15 p.m. now. Still looking at 70+ mile-per-hour gusts and quarter-sized hail. Okay.
And yes, it's just a lot of wind. The back channel on this bow echo, or this really strong straight line wind here. This is kind of where we're seeing the winds pushing this out, and you bet it's really moving into northwest Iowa now.
Can I get a big long lapse of the reflectivity here? I want to show you the big picture because there's one other thing we should mention. The Weather Prediction Center just sent out kind of an advisory saying that we could see more flash flooding through the evening hours due to these thunderstorm cells moving over ground repeatedly, additional cells. So just to let you know, there's a lot of, well, you know there's a lot of moisture in the air because you felt it earlier, but there is more potential for flash flooding here as we go through the evening hours. And of course, that is where we already have a flash flood warning that's been issued for in excess of 2 inches of rainfall. But we could be seeing some 2+ inches of rainfall amounts here in, it's kind of the area that are looking at is right paralleling I-90, both sides of the interstate, and that'll be through the evening hours. So just to let you know, we could also be seeing, in addition to more wind, we could be looking at more rain as well.
This is Harrisburg right now, and we are getting a lot of wind in Harrisburg based on this camera here. And it is hard to stabilize that, but it is moving around quite a bit. So, yep, there's wind obviously moving through some of these communities here south of Sioux Falls. We want to make sure we're clear about that, too, here this afternoon as we acknowledge some of these bigger picture items this afternoon. And we've got a lot of real estate to cover, obviously, with the scope of these storms this afternoon. That's the latest view from Falls Park with that heavy rain that's coming through. And it's been a very busy day here with several storms. And there's our live view from downtown Sioux Falls. The heavy rain has picked up once again with this latest segment of the storm moving through.
And that's kind of what we were just talking about with the flash flooding potential is meteorologists call it training of cells. It means just areas of rain moving over areas of rain where we've already had rain and more areas of rain, and that's going to be present into the evening hours here in along and both sides of Interstate 90. Of course, that does include the Sioux Falls area and the heart of southeastern Keloland.
Yeah, I want to go back to this Hartford, or this the Harrisburg view, if you will. And I'm going to move this camera just to the north here and kind of see if I can center this up just a little bit here. Again, kind of bear with me here as we bring up a couple of these. But this camera has been shaking around quite a bit here this afternoon. A lot of wind there reported. Also, I wanted to mention Madison. Look at all that wind up here. Yeah. Still blowing in. The backside of these storms have been pretty, very windy. Some prolonged, strong winds have been organizing. So we kind of call those a wake low wind or that type of a feature. And obviously here, you can see that here this afternoon.
Yeah, some Edmund Fitzgerald weather out there. Here's the line of thunderstorms, and this is just kind of a time lapse over the past hour. Let me go to current so you can see where it is right now. The area in red, that's where they have the heaviest rain. We've seen rain build back into the Sioux Falls area within the past few minutes, and the winds have also come back into the city. We've got more strong winds right now, not gusty, kind of persistent winds actually, and the flashing yellow boxes are where we have severe thunderstorm warnings. You can see them on the bottom of your screen, but frankly, it's pretty much everywhere in southeastern Keloland, the tri-state area.
Yeah, very, very widespread severe weather today, at least widespread thunderstorms with embedded pockets of very strong winds, hurricane force winds at times, and obviously the damage reports will continue, I'm sure, as we continue to watch this line marching off to the south and east. The time right now is 4:17. Again, we've been on the air with these storms here as they've been passing through the Sioux Falls area. Obviously, a lot of information pertaining to some damaging winds this afternoon. Just looking at some of these wind speeds, again, looking at the channeling of all of this. Again, this has been very strong in the radar height, at least looking at internally within these clouds. Some of these wind gusts are well over 70 or 80, but at this point, again, the thinking is that this line will move east throughout the duration of the next hour and continue to cross into portions of northwestern Iowa and southwest Minnesota. So consider yourself with the heads up here with that line at the leading edge. It's pretty clear. The red versus the green, that's the edge of the wind that's moving through, it's moved through Rock Rapids, Ellsworth, Minnesota. You're next, Little Rock, Iowa. Also in the lineup here with these severe thunderstorm wind gusts. You can see on the traditional view on Keloland Live Doppler HD, it's showing a lot of intensity to that storm line to the east. Del Rapids to Sioux Falls, heavy rain right now. There's a lot of that going on. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, and we've just got a report of some 50 to 55 knot winds out of Sioux Falls just within the last couple of minutes. But we've also been looking at some very, very heavy rain. We kind of briefly touched upon the flash flood warning that was in place in Minnesota over toward Murray County. We actually have two axes of very heavy rainfall you can see. The first one in Murray County, northwest and northeast of Slayton, respectively. And you would mention the training of some of these thunderstorms. You can clearly see that where we have some of that very heavy rain going all the way up north and west into Beadle County toward Huron, south and east through Howard, eventually in the northwestern and central portions of Minnehaha County, where we're getting those radar estimates of 4 and upward of 5 inches of rainfall already. And as we've seen on radar, there is clearly going to be more on the way. So while we already have just the one flash flood warning in southwestern Minnesota, near Slayton and northeast of Pipestone, I would not be surprised if we have more flash flooding concerns, especially where we continue to get that training effect in place from here on over into Sioux Falls.
Yeah, that's what it looks like in Madison. Let's go back to Sioux Falls, Brian. It's
move that one right here. Now. And by the way, in Sioux Falls, yeah, that rain has definitely picked up again. So yeah, beware of that runoff, that torrential rainfall rates that could create some localized flash flooding and all those kind of things here in the area. You can see that showing up, at least in Sioux Falls, very heavy rain. The wind, obviously, we also, last report, the last big wind gust that we had was out of Wall Lake. I don't have any subsequent or new information to add to that right now, but obviously with these downburst type scenarios, and you can get these bursts of wind that definitely come into play, it all kind of adds up here. And certainly these lines of heavy rain still going to be making their way through the city of Sioux Falls here. So please, if you're about ready to head home from work, you know, continue to hang tight with us here as we let these winds and the heavy rain go through, because we're obviously not done yet, as you can see that on
this rain is going to continue for at least a few minutes here, Brian.
Yep, and
heavy
Hartford.
Rainfall.
Yep, still seeing that as well. So it's, again, quite a large swath of that as this whole thing moves through. You can see, just peeking out to our Harrisburg camera just to see what the wind situation is down there. Again, it's been kind of just a broad brush wind through that area, not as heavy of rain.
The heavier rain is going to be in Sioux Falls.
Yep, and this view too from Madison, we've been watching, you know, clear up to Lake County. Look at that. I mean, that's marching through with tremendous amount of wind, some lightning there, just a lot going on there on that camera. So as it's a little, in fact, I'm actually losing.
Go back to Sioux Falls, either 41st Street or click on 14th in Minnesota there.
Yep, there we go. And we're going to kind of go through a couple of these here right now as this whole area kind of comes through. Again, right now looking at, again, these vantage points here to the west of our studios in downtown. There's your city streets, and you can see, yeah, water ponding. Obviously, that's going to be your trouble in the short term here with these really hefty rainfall rates. Obviously, at this point, no hail. That's the positive side there. But
now let's look at 41st in Minnesota, or 41st in front of the Empire Mall.
You bet. Right here we go, and this again showing continuation.
Not as heavy down there, more wind than anything else down there.
Yep, it's been very windy, very consistently showing wind moving through that area. Again, that's a little closer to some of those reports that we had near Wall Lake. Obviously, that plays in line here too. Let's go to Great Bear. And this one, too, showing us a lot of wind. There, east of Sioux Falls, there's a vantage point. You can see that.
Sheets of rain there.
Yep, very tough to see. And I'm wondering, too, here, if we've got Brandon at the golf course there, and you can see that one too here, showing just again the wall of rain and the wind, but definitely pooling some water there too, it looks like. And the soil has been so dry for a while. You know it's coming down in sheets when you see that here this afternoon. So,
all right, let me, for those of you just joining us, we're looking at a broad area of thunderstorms moving now through the southeastern part of Kelo land during the afternoon. We've had multiple threats. One, very strong winds up around the Huron area at the airport there, had a wind gust of 96 miles an hour. We've had lots of wind gusts over 70 miles an hour. The Mitchell area, over 60 mile an hour gusts. We've had reports of damage up around Cavor, the Miller area. Lots of places reporting some damage from winds. We've also had some areas of ping-pong ball size hail. So in some cases, we're talking wind-driven hail. Now we have the additional threat of heavy rainfall already in southwest Minnesota. This area right here, Chandler, Lake Wilson, Cottonwood County, Murray County, we do have a flash flood warning, but also concerns about areas where we get additional thunderstorms moving over the same areas in several waves. That's where we could get some more flash flooding issues. And the folks who are analyzing this are watching the area, both sides of I-90 here in the southeastern part of Keloland. Will continue to have a threat for heavy rainfall, maybe flash flooding type rainfall into the evening hours. So we're not done yet. Also, this is the leading edge of the storm, but actually on the back side of it, that's where we've been seeing some very strong winds, and those continue in the Sioux Falls area right now. The strong winds on the backside of that storm cell are giving us not gusty winds, but persistent strong winds, and that trend is going to continue.
We actually did just get a report of a 72-mile-per-hour gust out of the airport at about
Sioux Falls Airport?
Yeah, about 7 minutes ago, 72.
Okay, so right here, kind of in the center of that circle you see right there, 72-mile-an-hour gust here in the Sioux Falls area. But we've been seeing lots of that strong wind here it persistently for the last several minutes now in the Sioux Falls area. I can kind of show you what it looks like on radar. We see the brightest green colors right now. That's where we have the strongest winds, and they're mainly northwest of the Sioux Falls area. Colton, Lyons, Crooks areas, down through the T. Ellis Road, and now the airport. And I was talking about how you look for, on this particular map, you're looking for green, which is air moving toward the radar. In other words, winds moving toward the radar. You can see that we have had some stronger winds right around the airport area, and that's why, that's probably what produced that 72-mile-per-hour gust. Brian, you wanted to have a look at something you're taking a peek at there?
Yeah, we've been getting more reports of the damage, or at least the wind gusts out near Wall Lake. Obviously, looking at this view here from Sioux Falls, you can see the prolonged period of gusty winds and the heavy rain that's been occurring there. Also in Brandon, a lot of heavy rain here, as evidenced by the live view here from the golf course there. So this, again, part of this big picture pattern. We've had numerous reports of strong winds today. This big map here that we're going to show you right now illustrates some of that here as I bring up all these particular dots here on the screen. Each one of these reports of strong damaging winds. You can see from Montrose and then all the way back to the west, several of these 80-mile-an-hour winds out in Spencer, South Dakota. You can see even more to the northwest. Huron area had a 96-mile-an-hour wind gust today. That was as of 2:03 this afternoon. So no shortage of hurricane force winds with some of these cells. And again, it's been a very, very busy afternoon watching all of this coming together. I want to go back to here onto the radar view here too, because you can see we have this. All of these storms now have effectively bowed out. That's why you're seeing this big picture pattern where
take those reports
this whole thing, yes, and it comes out just to the east of Sioux Falls now. So basically blowing through Lyon County, Laverne area, picking up some of that hefty rain right now, and then the whole thing is channeling through pretty quickly. So it is one of those deals where the severe weather, at least the strongest of the winds, now pushing east into northwest Iowa, and then for the Sioux Falls area, it's basically kind of the backside of this whole feature, which is still, by the way, pretty strong wind in here. There's no question about that. When you look at some of these latest depictions here, Jay, I mean, around Lyons, we've been getting some pretty strong numbers. I mean, these are not necessarily going away. And I know that Adam just mentioned the airport had a gust over 70. And so I think that these numbers are definitely in the ballpark there between Crooks and Colton.
Even just another gust coming in with the last about 5 minutes, 74 miles per hour out of the airport.
Okay, so it's still
the same number you got there on the radar.
Yep, still coming in. And I see near Worthing down south of Sioux Falls, 60 mile an hour.
Yep.
Okay, so again, this has been part of the pattern this afternoon as we watch our live cameras here from Sioux Falls. Again, this is live coverage there. You can see several of these cameras on your screen at the present moment. And one other thing here, too, we've been trying to respond to a couple of other cameras here. I'm just going to work on those for just a moment. But we've been kind of watching to see where the winds are setting up in Sioux Falls here on the north side of town here. That appears to be the strongest at the moment here. And also, by the way, the intensity of the lightning, too. I can hear that outside our studios. So more to come with that flank of the storm. The Sioux City area now and down toward Elk Point, Lamar's, and Sioux Center. That's all a line of severe thunderstorms, as well as that whole feature continues to push to the south and east, Jay.
All right, and it's moving pretty quickly. Sioux Falls area is just getting more rain and more rain and more rain because the system's kind of wrapping that rainfall right around us. We have a northeast wind pushing it back into the city of Sioux Falls, and so look for more rain. Our live cam now kind of shaking there, Brian. I'm just going to pop that up for a second to show. Yeah, we got winds now here downtown Sioux Falls, fairly gusty. So the winds we saw out at the airport now coming through downtown Sioux Falls. I'm sure your trees are shaking if you live in Sioux Falls because those winds are blowing at the present time. Adam, do you have another report over there?
No, the only thing that I'm seeing is just reports from law enforcement that some of the sirens apparently in Sioux City, due to the warning, have been going off due to the gusty winds down that way. But beyond that, no new reports beyond the 74-mile-per-hour gust that we had out of the airport just about 7 minutes ago.
All right. and the winds continue to blow here in Sioux Falls, and the rain continues to fall. And as I was just mentioning a few minutes ago, our concern may be shifting toward a bit of heavy rainfall, persistent rainfall, as these cells remain over the same areas. If they continue to rain in the same areas, we could end up with some trouble out of those. Here's a look at everything in motion. The heaviest rainfalls where you see the reds, you do see the way more of it came down into the Sioux Falls area from the northwest, along with those very strong winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. Now, mostly, actually, the northern half of Sioux Falls is where we've seen the stronger winds of late. That's also where we've seen the most persistent rainfall. Still pretty windy, breezy in the south, the southern part of Sioux Falls, but probably not quite as gusty as we're seeing up around the airport and areas to the north in the main part of Minnehaha County. These things continue to move in an easterly direction. They're moving fairly quickly, so they can be getting out of Keloland here within the next hour or two, the way things are looking right now, if they continue to move at their current speed and direction. But in the meantime, we have some issues with wind, we have some issues with rainfall, and that does include the Sioux Falls area, still under a severe thunderstorm warning. The potential for hail is there, but not as strong as it was earlier. Just lots of wind and lots of rainfall. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue for Pipestone, Minnesota, Lake, Moody counties until 5 p.m. And so it's been that kind of a day, just that kind of a day, with all the trouble that we've had here in the eastern part of Keloland.
Here's an interesting view from our live camera network. You can see from Brandon, or from Great Bear. First of all, let's put this into motion. This is how the storms looked as they came through the eastern side. Yep. And hitting the camera there, wall of wind. And now from Brandon, you can see too, there's your shelf cloud that came through. And obviously here, as that continues, you can see the push of wind and rain. And a lot of motion in that cloud. That's what's moving through northwest Iowa right now. So this has been the history of these storms. And look at the sky colors today.
Murky green.
Very much so. Couple of things there to show. So again, I wanted to just bring that up here on view here this afternoon. You can also see here, I believe I've got another picture from the Wall Lake area. Let me see if I can bring that one up quickly here. This is just coming in. So let me bring it up here full screen for you right now. This again is a picture taken a few minutes. Well, this has been within the hour from Wall Lake, but we mentioned Wall Lake several times here with the amount of wind and 85-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So what does it look like there? Well, that was the picture as the storm was moving through, and that is pretty interesting. You can see the texture of the clouds. And quite a dynamic photo there. Again, that's
from Paul Schiller, is it?
Paul Schiller, you bet. And we worked with Paul for many years, and he's quite the photographer. So the image there, again, that's one picture. I'm sure we're going to have more for our upcoming newscasts here as we continue.
We do have some power outages, at least some customers in the Sioux Falls area. We just have that in. So there's at least some power problems in Sioux Falls. We don't know how localized they are.
Yes, and obviously we'll continue to hear more about that, I'm sure, as we go through this evening hours here. If you've received damage, you want to send us a report, you share at keloland.com, and obviously...
Dakota News Now.
This with some hurricane-force wind gusts. A National Weather Service employee reporting 85 to 90-mile-an-hour winds in the greater Sioux Falls area, in the Wall Lake area. Again, winds stronger than 85 miles an hour associated with these storms that are moving through this line of storms, this derecho that is still impacting Sioux Falls, and also live here.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Point of this long-lived storm that is still chugging along here in the Midwest.
Whoa. Oh, one more. Let's go.
No, honey, it's going. Wish.
Tonight, we saw the skies turn green. We did have a couple of power issues here at the station, and even though I think your LG screen was trying to say that life is good and reassure us, you know, we're still keeping an eye on some of the severe stuff that's making its way through.
Yeah, you know, it's no surprise that there was that much more serious power outage, did you say around the Huron area?
Yeah.
Because they had a wind gust reported around 90 miles an hour, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were some power lines down around that vicinity from this line of storms that continues to move on through the area. It is in the process of exiting, but still affecting southeastern South Dakota, the main part of it anyway. And look at all the lightning with this, and not just you know, a lot of lightning, but we've had the strong winds, and the hail has been an issue too, but it hasn't been huge hail, it's been mainly the wind. So still some severe thunderstorm warnings going on, including, you know, Vermilion down towards Sioux City, northwest Iowa, Sioux Falls, Worthington under a severe thunderstorm warning until 5.
What we've got for our live cameras here this afternoon, again, these pretty strong winds are going to continue behind this main line of storms. So that we have covered. We have spent a good amount of time on that. I do want to make sure we're clear, too, as we look at Madison. We've been looking at a couple of views here. Let me bring this one up on the lake, looking across there. It's a little better than it was, but certainly still very strong winds on the backside of these storms. And we did lose connection to our Parker live camera, so my guess is there too we've had some issues there with some power outages, or at least some interruption of communications at times. So that's the story this afternoon. Folks have been quite busy with that. Brandon, torrential rain falling right now.
Ooh, the wind-driven rain there.
Look
sheets of rain at the Brandon Golf Course. Looks like it's ponding up there too, so I'm sure it's been going on a while.
Well, it's really, yeah, and there's a tremendous, look at that.
We still have the strong winds down on 41st Street.
Let's take a look. 41st right now.
Because the stronger winds within the past few minutes have actually been in the northern part of Sioux Falls, but you can see down to the south we got some pretty good winds there as well.
Yeah, it is still, it's, you know, moving along. I mean, look at how the motion in the trees is there. So we are not done.
Yeah. Adam, are you ready to talk about some rainfall totals, or radar indicated rainfall totals?
Yeah, what I found interesting is just the short amount of distance between what we have in terms of, you know, multiple inches of rainfall over the last couple of hours in the northwestern corner of Minnehaha County west of Colton. Compare that to Harrisburg, just about 27.5 miles down to the south and east. They're still indicating at least estimates of less than 1 inch of rainfall. And we are getting those estimates of 5+ inches of rainfall in deep red toward Colton, Lyons, a little bit northwest of Crooks as well. And even northwest of Howard, you can see that area of a brighter red. We'll just take a quick.
Oh, really?
Users protect their privacy.
From the East Ridge Police Department.
Ran out. But I turned yesterday's spaghetti into pasta alla.
In north central Minnehaha County, with the heavy rain just really not going anywhere anytime soon.
All right, sheets of rain now in Sioux Falls. That's still Brian looking out at Brandon with the heavy rain and the wind-driven rain.
Yes, look at that. It's just coming right up the rooftop, and those bushes there in the background. That is some strong wind.
Yes,
going
and
through,
the,
isn't it?
Severe thunderstorm warning for Lincoln County, Minnehaha County, and points to the east and northwest Iowa. That severe thunderstorm warning continues until 5:15 p.m. They're saying wind gusts to 80 miles an hour based on radar trends, and yeah, that's pretty much what we've been seeing as well. So that trend is going to continue as well. I should mention that we will be seeing this activity continue into the evening hours. And we could see more watches issued here as we go through the next few hours as well. Adam, you're kind of studying the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. What do you have?
Yeah, they just put out a discussion about areas out in western portions of South Dakota toward Wyoming as well. They are still saying that there's at least an isolated threat for severe weather, as we're still getting a little bit of that activity to get through us out in the West River portions of our area. Not putting it as as a guarantee, but just because of the fact that we do still have a decent bit of energy in the atmosphere out in the western portions of South Dakota, again, near the Wyoming border, there is going to still be that wind and hail threat with any storm that is really able to get itself invigorated within the next couple of hours. So if we do get a watch out that way, that's going to be the reason why. Otherwise, for now, it's just going to continue to be kind of a wait-and-see situation out in that portion of South Dakota.
All right, you're watching continuous coverage of a broad area of thunderstorms with wind and some heavy rain. Not so much in the hail department. However, we have had many places reporting destructive winds during the day today, and the destructive winds continue even at this hour. That's what it looks like out to the east of the Sioux Falls area. Brian, taking a look at Brandon right now, and yeah, we're probably seeing 70 to 80 miles winds out there.
It's very strong. Yeah, this Brandon live camera, we're holding our connection to that, but yes, it's blowing pretty strong here. No question about that, and these littler trees are just kind of holding on there, but I'm sure we've got probably some mixed damage reports, those kind of things again that we were all too familiar with this year. And even in downtown Sioux Falls, the winds have been pretty strong. That's a live view here just outside of our studios, kind of zoomed in on some of these trees and how things have been pushing along here over the past half hour ago. Very strong winds have channeled back in on the back side of this. You know, when you look at it on radar, you can actually see the curly Q formation here. If you look at this, you've got basically all this wind channeling this direction, and then it's almost kind of curving back like that. And this whole feature, this little flow that's coming on the back side of this is what's whipping back into Sioux Falls and Brandon right now with all that strong wind that we're witnessing. So there's a good reason why we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. We are certainly not done as these winds are strong. And of course, there's heavy rain, a lot of heavy rain from Brandon to Garrettson. Then you can follow the whole rest of the line down into Lyon County, Sioux County, and even down to Elk Point and Vermilion. Several severe thunderstorm warnings remaining in effect as that information scrolls on the bottom of your screen until about 5:30 this evening. By the way, there are new cells popping up around Mitchell.
Look at that.
And Plankington. Yep, new ones there. So we'll see if those actually have enough starch.
Well, give it, put on a lightning detection a second. Let's see what we got, what we're dealing with there. Yeah, some little thunderstorms forming out to the west. Again, along I-90, Chamberlain, Mitchell, southeastern South Dakota. There you see the broader area of rainfall. Leave that right there, if you will, Brian. Again, what we're looking for here is this is looking inside of the clouds to see where the air is moving inside the clouds. And the green, that's where we have the strongest winds right now, and especially the brightest colors of green. That tells us the velocities are higher, the wind speeds are higher in the cloud level. And much of the last several minutes, they've been right in this area, kind of the northern half of Sioux Falls, and especially out to the northwest of the city of Sioux Falls. Montrose, Humboldt, up toward Colton. That's where we had the strongest winds gusts within the past several minutes. As Brian was saying, we have kind of a swirling action going on here. There's lots of lightning, and there's also heavy rainfall, and that trend is going to continue. The potential is there for more excessive rainfall as we go through the next several hours. Brian, let me pop that up. Let's have a look at what you got. Describe what you're seeing there, BK.
Yeah, that's what we're getting at the Brandon Golf Course. There's a big old branch down there right outside the live camera
view.
It's like
the birch trees seen better days, yeah.
There's, yeah, and I'm sure as we, we could probably pan around and find more of these things.
I bet you we can. It's this is going to be another one of those widespread storms. You know, so often we talk about tornadoes because, tornadoes get all the coverage, they cause the destructive winds and things like that. But often when you see these big, wide windstorms, they aren't tornadic, but they actually end up producing more destruction because they're so widespread. And that's why we don't have a tornado warning posted right now, but we're on the air to show you this because it is a widespread destructive storm, and a lot of Keloland communities are going to be dealing with this for the next several days, I'm sure, doing cleanup, because this is knocking down lots of trees, and I'm sure we'll be seeing other damage to structures out of these as well.
Yeah, it's been a long afternoon, but folks, I know it's, getting to the point where we're at least hopefully seeing at least some shifting of the severe weather, the placement of that. That's our view here from downtown Sioux Falls. And again, that's been pretty consistent, showing heavy rainfall, obviously, there too, with this vantage point. And on Doppler radar, again, counties east of Sioux Falls, lots going on here with several warnings. We've had a number of these. I know we had a report of baseball-sized hail near Lake Wilson earlier. Look at all the heavy rain coming into southwest Minnesota. At least that's the good news today. I know the rain has been needed. Folks have said a lot about that lately, but we could do without all of this storm damage and the wind. But
yeah, let's go over to Adam. Take a look at the power outage situation.
Yeah, so we are also using one of our newer products here with Barron where we can keep an eye on estimates of the number of power outages that we're getting observed. And now I want to focus on Minnehaha County for just a moment. This is showing an estimate of 2,000. However,
that's in Minnehaha County.
Yeah, in Minnehaha County. However, there was a report that just came in a couple of minutes ago from Emergency Management showing
Regan Smith, yes.
Yeah, an Excel outage map showing nearly 14,000 without power just in Sioux Falls. So this is why we say that these are estimates. These numbers are going to constantly change and vary with updated information. But in terms of county totals, we're still looking at a couple of thousand up toward Beetle County and the Huron area, Davison County at 1,500, a couple hundred toward Brookings County and Lake County. So you can look at it from just a raw number standpoint, or you can look at it from a perspective of the percentage of the county estimated without power. When you do it that way, an estimated 60% of Beetle County without power right now. Again, that 2% based on what was put up there initially, but since we know we have at least about 14,000 in Sioux Falls without power, that percentage number is going to climb with more updated information.
All right, so yeah, we are, and we're not done with this yet, by the way. These persistent winds we have right now are probably going to be causing more problems for us over the next minutes, if not hours, actually, as the whole cluster of storms moves to the east. The red is the business end as far as precipitation is concerned, and it's been rainfall. The flashing yellow boxes where we have the severe thunderstorm warnings, but we also have the problem of the wind, and the wind problems are going to continue to be a problem. Brian, look at that big tree.
Yeah, it is blowing over there in Brandon right now. Look at that.
Again, for reference, that's at the golf course.
Yep. Let me show you just how these trees are holding up in that wind. But this has been steady, strong winds. I mean, just blowing for many, many minutes there. Wave after wave of this kind of stuff. Look at the water, too, ponding. Yep. I mean, okay, so now if you're familiar with the Brandon golf course, you kind of know what we're looking at here a little bit. But, I mean, this is dry ground. Of course, hard ground, too. It's baked. It's been baked from all the heat that we've had the last couple of weeks, and now you see the whole thing. It's just ponding of water there in some of those spots downhill. But the vantage points, again, showing widespread, easy 70-mile-an-hour winds here at the golf course.
Yep, Mother Nature playing through at the Brandon course. Here's a look at the big picture. You can see the rainfall, but that's only part of the story. I'm almost hesitant to show the radar because it's only telling very part of the story. That's where we have the moderate to heavy rainfall, the heavier rain, where we have the red areas on your screen. Brian was just showing you the Brandon golf course, so that's right there. But it's not only where the rain is coming down, it's where the wind is blowing it, because we have considerable winds out there. The better view, and I know this always takes a little bit of an explanation, but using the radar, looking inside the storm at the winds that we have, and where you see the brighter colors, that's where the strongest winds are right now. And now it's going to take a little bit more as the storm is right over the Doppler radar at the airport. Here's strong winds where you see those greens there. That is strong wind moving toward the airport in Sioux Falls. Then, as the wind pushes through Sioux Falls, now I see these brighter reds here. This is all one band of wind coming in from the northwest. So the change in color just tells us which side of the Doppler radar that the winds are. But where you see the brighter colors, that's where we have the strong winds. So now we do have...
Yeah, a lot of wind. Obviously, we've been talking about just sustained winds. You got signs signs down.
Yeah, you can see the traffic sign there, the do not enter sign on the interchange to I-29. That's down there.
I'm sure we're going to hear more about just general wind.
Look at those flagpoles in the distance in front of La Quinta.
Yeah, and it's pretty common. So yeah, 80-mile-an-hour wind gust again in Sioux Falls. How many times has that happened this year?
You know, it used to be maybe once a year, and now it seems like we've had it, I don't know how many times already. This has just been
at least twice for sure.
This has been the year of the wind. Well, there's the traffic signal there, and of course the traffic signal to the east of there was taken down in the derecho. They put it.
Film. Highland Park, Illinois, into another mass shooting site. A rooftop gunman firing into a parade.
Make more of what's yours.
The play. So when that matches up with where we see the rotation on the wind mode or the velocity mode of the radar.
So within the half hour, this 80-mile-an-hour wind that's gone through the airport, you know, it heads right over to Brandon and keeps going. So again, we're just, you know, if you're just joining us, by the way, that branch there in the bottom of your screen, this is one little piece of evidence of all this wind today.
Well, I mean, think about earlier today, we had a 96-mile-an-hour wind in Huron. We just had an 80-mile-an-hour wind in Sioux Falls, and everywhere in between is where we're getting the highest radar velocities at cloud levels. So that is just the whole wall of wind turned out to be a river of wind, I guess we could say, here in the southeastern part of the Keloland region. That's where we have the rain right now. That's the area in red. It's now moving off into Minnesota and Iowa.
I'm sorry.
Wanted to mention, too, as you were looking through some of these bigger reports, we are looking at the report here earlier in the afternoon up by Dewey County, folks, Timber Lake, grapefruit-sized hail earlier in the day. So we're going to have just a kind of a composite view of some of these reports, obviously, from all of this today. Also, we have several reports now up around Madison of multiple business sheet metal roofs removed by high winds, and that's located just basically 1 mile southwest, or basically the southwest part of Madison. And we talked about Madison quite extensively before those storms were coming in there in that particular area, that we would have some destructive winds through Lake County, and indeed that has occurred. Right now, for what's going on in Sioux Falls, is basically the winds that are on the rushing in on the backside or kind of wrapping back around here. Several data samples here are probably going to prove that the numbers are still pretty high. They've been maybe a little worse, but you know, you definitely look at this and you're finding 50, 60, 70-mile-an-hour winds pretty common. And yeah, let's even sample here down into Lincoln County right now, as those winds are channeling through pretty strong, aren't they, at radar height?
That's the only difference in the color is air that is going toward the airport or away from the airport. The values, the speeds are the same. 72, 76 miles an hour. That wind, that channel, that river of wind blowing right through Sioux Falls from northwest to southeast.
And this is occurring without any major rain. I mean, this is just plain strong wind through the Sioux Falls area, and it's becoming obvious that you know, it has sustainability. Our cameras here, as we've gone back and forth between downtown and this Brandon, I mean, this hasn't changed much. That is putting a lot of stress on, you know, numerous trees and just the overall infrastructure. So if you have a tree limb that might be weaker, I mean, eventually, you can see there, I mean, obviously a couple smaller ones coming off, and this is just what we can see from a very short distance. I mean, obviously with all that rain coming down at Brandon, I'm not going to be able to show you a lot there, but definitely this is continuing. Severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, if your phone just went off for Sioux Falls, destructive 80-mile-an-hour winds still in the wording here. So that's an emergency alert that just got on your mobile phone or your mobile device, and that's drawn here as Jay's bringing that up. This is, again, a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15. And this is a lot of it is occurring in kind of a formation where the worst of the storm itself or the front edge has moved through, but now it's just plain wind. And we've sampled, Jay, a lot of these big numbers here. I'll put a few more on the map here.
Yeah, before the strongest winds were coming through the northern part of Sioux Falls, you see 70, 80 mile an hour wind reports south of the city. It is quite simply that big, long river of destructive winds that has generally gone from Miller through Beetle County, the Huron area, Davison County, the Mitchell area, now through Sioux Falls to the south of Sioux Falls into northwest Iowa with very strong winds, which are still blowing and will continue to blow here in the southeastern part of the Kelo land region. That's a look at what's going on in Brandon right now. Here's a look at downtown Sioux Falls. I'll show you one of our other live cams. You can see the winds perhaps not quite as obvious if you look at downtown. You look at where we do have flagpoles and things like that. You do see those winds blowing pretty strong. Here in the Sioux Falls area, we're probably still getting 60 mile an hour winds right now. You can see those being blown around. We know we have some fairly significant power outages in the Sioux Falls area right now as a result of those winds taking down power lines and causing problems with some of the poles across the region. So that is going to be an issue for us that is not done yet. Looking at the radar, we can see that we still have more rainfall coming, more wind coming, I should say. And that's where you see the brightest colors, the brightest greens and the brightest reds, where we have the strongest winds. Everything coming kind of from the northwest to the southeast, and that trend is going to continue for the next several minutes. We are not done with this thing yet. That's where the channel of the stronger winds is right now. In addition to strong winds, we have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and with that moist air in place, we could be seeing some issues of excessive rainfall, maybe even flash flooding type rainfall. The area they're looking at for that potential is along both sides of I-90, including Sioux Falls, from the southeastern part of South Dakota into northwest Iowa. So that will be something we'll have to keep an eye on as well. So far, the Sioux Falls area, we've had a couple rounds of rainfall, not as heavy in our area. We have seen other places where there's heavier rainfall, especially north of the Sioux Falls area right now. You see the darker colors there. That's where we have some heavier rain going. And we also have the that area of a little bit of sunshine coming in the far northwestern corner of your picture there. But for now, we're talking about rain. We're talking about winds. Severe thunderstorm watch continues for another couple hours here in the southeastern part of the Keloland region, including the Sioux Falls area. So look for more winds, look for more rain, and Keloland News at 5 starts now.
Live from Keloland Media Group, Keloland News at 5.
From strong winds to large hail and a tornado sirens.
Tonight we are following all of the latest as eastern Keloland is hit with severe storms.
Well, good evening. A powerful line of storms has left down trees, flooded streets, and many communities are without power.
Now we're getting multiple reports of vehicles trapped in flooded intersections and down power lines.
Just minutes ago, the city of Sioux Falls urged people to continue sheltering in place. At last report, nearly 20,000 people in the Sioux Falls area were without power.
Here is a look at the Xcel Energy map. Outages range from Huron all the way to Sioux Falls. Sioux Valley Energy is reporting outages in several counties. Northwestern Energy says more than 900 are still without power in Huron.
And this is what it looked like in Huron as tornado sirens went off. Once the worst of the storm blew through town, Huron Police Department recommended no travel in the city. Listen to that. Wow, multiple trees are down along with power lines. The Huron Airport recorded a 96-mile-per-hour wind gust during that storm. Our team of meteorologists has been tracking these storms, and let's send it over to them in the Storm Center.
All right, Tom, we've had a day of wind and rain and even some hail, and it is not done yet. We still have many severe thunderstorm warnings. You can see them at the bottom of your screen, the names of the counties, but also it's just plain everything in southeastern KELOLAND. Sioux Falls area is still under a severe thunderstorm warning for another half hour because even after the initial wall of wind passed through, stronger winds have occurred behind that wall. In fact, the Sioux Falls Airport recorded an 80-mile-per-hour wind gust. And as Angela and Tom said, the storms actually started causing some wind damage earlier in the day northwest of the Huron area and all the way through southeastern KELOLAND, through Sioux Falls, now to southwest Minnesota and northwest Iowa. That's a look at the big picture. Brian, anything poking out at catching your attention there? The winds that continue at this hour?
Well, they have been the story, just the general wind that has blanketed the area. And again, it's been 50 to 60, very common, 70 to 80 at times. Obviously, we're just starting to get more information about how that's affecting power and obviously tree limbs, those kind of things, but it's a broad picture. This big picture, these reds and greens, we're basically scanning for wind. When I internally probe on this, again, it's pretty common to find some fairly large numbers. Again, they're going to go back and forth, but as we overlay the Doppler radar picture right now, what's basically happened here is that the line that, if you rewind this back about 3 hours ago, was coming towards Sioux Falls. It came in, it started early this morning in northwest South Dakota and basically plowed into this heat and humidity. That was 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you can see as it came right through Sioux Falls, producing a lot of strong wind, both with the initial line and now on the backside, Jay, and that's what we're dealing with right now.
And the winds continue to blow. One of the places we've been watching is like out at the Brandon Golf Course. You can see the winds are blowing, the trees are shaking, widespread tree damage, power outages. We're collecting more information on that, and Tom and Angela can tell you more about that part of the story.
Well, we want to thank you, the viewer, for sending in your pictures. We're getting a lot of them right now, as you can see, down trees and power lines. Also, a semi-tractor trailer was blown over near Miller, and a grain bin was crumpled near Oneida. Now, if you have any pictures of the storm or the damage left behind, please send them to us at ushare@keloland.com. And remember, always be safe anytime you're out during a weather event.
And we'll be checking back in with the weather team momentarily. In other news tonight, Lincoln County Sheriff's deputies got a big pay raise today. KELOLAND's Don Jorgensen has more on that.
On a 4-to-1 vote, the Lincoln County Commission voted to give the sheriff's deputies a 10% pay raise.
Our number one job and responsibility is public safety, so I'm pleased with the vote.
Last week, the same commission voted to give county employees a pay raise, but not the sheriff's deputies. And that didn't go over well with a lot of people, like Chad Skiles, who is an EMT.
I walked out of that meeting feeling that the morale for the sheriff's department was badly damaged last week.
Skiles testified today on behalf of the deputies.
It is personal to me.
Skiles was the first EMT on the scene of a gunman and shooting in Lenox 7 years ago. He remembers how the deputies responded and saved lives.
I was able to do my job taking care of the injured patients thanks to the law enforcement officers who literally stood over me and protected me so that I could do my job.
A job the sheriff says deserved a boost in pay.
Absolutely, and that was the big thing all across the board is we need to. The workforce is getting more and more competitive, and if it pays your number one incentive, if we're not going to pay our people a fair wage, we're going to have difficulty recruiting and retaining.
In Canton, Don Jorgensen, KELOLAND News.
Now, some commissioners wanted to give deputies a 15% pay raise, which would have got them caught up with the same pay as Minnehaha County.
Well, we have an update on a homicide investigation in Rapid City. Police have identified the victim as 43-year-old Sheldon Glenn. Police were called to Memorial Park just before 7 last night for a report of a man holding another man in the water. When police arrived, Glenn was still underwater. 27-year-old Walter Musso Jr. of Pine Ridge was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Authorities in Pierre arrested a 41-year-old man accused of murder in California. Police received information that Brian Parker of San Diego was staying at a home in the area. Authorities served a warrant this morning and made an arrest. Parker is currently in the Hughes County Jail.
Minnehaha County has received a $65 million offer to buy the WH Line Fairgrounds. Knife River made the formal offer during today's commission meeting, asking the council to allow a new task force on the future of the fair to consider moving the fairgrounds as an option for future growth, allowing the company to turn the fairgrounds into a new excavation site for building materials.
You know, right now, because of the constraints, it's not legally clear that we could sell the property. It's been looked at for decades now, and they've come to the brink of selling it a couple of times and pulled back because, well, at least one other time, because they didn't think that they could legally do it.
156 acres of the fairgrounds was gifted to the county back in 1938. Why officials believe that agreement means selling the property isn't an option. In tonight's Your Money Matters at 10.
Well, we are following all of the developments in today's severe weather.
We'll have the latest on damage and power outages coming up.
And there it is, lightning, thunder, and lots of wind. All those yellow boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings, which continue at this hour. Sioux Falls until the bottom of the hour. Wind speeds have gusted over 80 in Sioux Falls, 96 in Huron. And we have a flash flood warning, the flashing green box northeast of Sioux Falls. We'll have details from the Storm Center next.
Only one show's on the Australian set of Thor, Love and Thunder for one smashing ET exclusive. Next ET.
Tonight at 6:30 on Keloland TV.
Did you know that Flyboy Donuts does same-day delivery? Just pick out your favorite donuts online and get back to your day with the magical feeling you get when Flyboy is on the way. As soon as your order is ready, we'll bring your fresh donuts straight to you. It's same-day donut delivery from Flyboy. Start your order at flyboydonuts.com.
I served in the Army and was named the National Military Mother of the Year. I care deeply about our national security, and that's why I'm speaking out against the left's attacks on America's tech innovators. Their bill will empower China to beat America militarily and economically, and make it easier for Chinese hackers to steal our online data. I don't see how any Republican senator can support this liberal agenda. Tell Senator John Thune to reject the left's bill.
The super satisfying sound of revving up your new favorite toy? That's Levo. Getting out of Dodge in your new Escape Pod on 4 wheels? That's Levo. The perfect vehicle to alleviate the first day of school jitters? That's Levo. Used or new, car or truck, motorcycle or RV. When you finance a vehicle purchase like a champ, that's Levo. And you know what else is Levo? Auto loan interest rates as low as 2.49% APR. Levo Credit Union. Forward together.
It's time to remodel your bathroom, but you don't want the hassle. You just want it done. Rebath, from start to stunning. Call us or see special offers on rebath.com.
It's Wow Wednesdays at Hy-Vee this Wednesday. That Smart Cottage cheese, only 99 cents. Blue Bunny ice cream pails, only $4.77. Select giant-sized General Mills cereal, only $2.99. And 6 mega rolls of Cottonelle bath tissue, only $3.99. Wednesday only. And save even more during Red, White, and Fuel. Right now, save up to $5.34 per gallon with your Hy-Vee Fuel Saver Plus Perks card. And visit HyVeeDeals.com for even more deals.
Lots of wind, lots of rain continues at this hour. That trend is going to continue because we've got that big, strong storm system still over us with a couple new additions. Flashing yellows where we have severe thunderstorm warnings does include the Sioux Falls area, but now you see the flashing green boxes. This is where we have flash flood warnings. We've seen excessive rainfall with these little cells kind of parked over the same area, continuing to rain. you see the red, that means the heavy rainfall. So we have one flash flood warning just to the northwest of the Sioux Falls area, primarily along and just north of I-90 in southwest Minnesota. Cottonwood County, Murray County, we've had a flash flood warning much of the afternoon due to persistent rainfall there. And where we have the flashing yellow boxes, that's where we have severe thunderstorm warnings. Right now it is raining, but in addition to that, we have lots of wind, and Brian is taking a look at that using our live cam network.
Yes, a lot of that being reported out there, and of course the strongest wind gusts since midnight, 75 Sioux Falls, at least that was an hourly report. We've had even higher reports than that. Obviously these live cameras continue to tell the story. That's 41st Street right now. A lot of wind still moving through the city as we speak. And over in Brandon, we've had a lot of consistent wind there. You can see parts of a tree down there on the sidewalk. That's going to be, unfortunately, pretty common. We've had a lot of wind today. Downtown Sioux Falls looking better as we speak. Some of the heavy rains have now channeled to the east. But as Jay just mentioned, this heavy rain threat now going over to Laverne. And as we've tracked these storms today, Adam, we've had time-lapse photography showing some of this, and it is pretty impressive when you look at how this started. This is from Great Bear. This is early mid-afternoon there, Adam.
Yeah, you can watch as this wall of wind just basically goes over the buildings and eventually slams head-on right into our camera at Great Bear. Well, not only do we get a view of that, but also a view of that wall of wind moving from left to right on our Brandon Valley camera. You can also just see just that murky green color in the sky, which is something that we watched as this storm just continued to mature, evolve, and then push to the east at a pretty decent clip. This did not really take its time moving on through. It's just like that ominous color of green that's just been able to kind of permeate and stick around. Now, we're also going to, no, we're not going to take a look at some hail. We want to take a look at actually some power outages. There we go. So we have power outages that we can look at on our live Doppler product, and this will show estimates of just how many individuals are without power per county. Well, for example, Minnehaha County estimating upward of 20,000 individuals without power in the whole county. If you want to go up toward Beetle County with a lighter shade of blue, that's estimating around 4,500 individuals without power. Lincoln County around 3,500. Now, one other thing that you can do is we can also look at this from a percentage standpoint. So about 23% of Minnehaha County is reporting no power right now. For Lincoln County, that's 14%. Turner County, about 13%. Beetle County, nearly 70% of the area without power. Or if you wanted to maybe even head over toward McCook County, that's at 25%. Moody County, 22.5%. Take-home message, these are going to continue to climb so long as we continue to keep this wind in place, and we'll be able to estimate just the impact of the wind on the power grid across eastern portions of Keloland. We'll take a look at this weather a little bit more in just a little bit. Until now, we head on over back to Tom and Angela.
We'll continue following all the latest from the storms, including some damage reports.
We'll be right back after the break.
What? What's that? Corned beef? Ooh, melty stuff. Sauerkraut? Plus Thousand Island? On special bread? Oh, got it. That's Arby's Reuben. Arby's, we have the meat.
Get everything you need to take care of your lawn and garden from Menards and get 11% off everything. Trust Flagzilla Garden Hose accessories to help make your lawn and garden the envy of the neighborhood. This Flagzilla oscillating lawn sprinkler features an adjustable range to cover up to 2,400 square feet. Pick it up today for just $24.99 after 11% rebate. Get 11% off everything for your projects now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Take care of your...
And take the crown.
Make a difference.
Or 10% off your new...
Thanks to the next episode.
And Live Doppler HD Storm Center. I am meteorologist Scott Muntz. Another hot...
Oh, hey. Buying a car from Vroom is so easy. All you
know where to go.
We kind of followed the law, followed the facts, and did what
the right thing. Here, obviously, this is a situation unlike any other. It's what you say in the law is sui generis. It's its own thing. I would like to think that a referral would apply more pressure on the Department of Justice. As Vice Chairwoman Cheney said, the Department of Justice does not need a referral. It can, of course, observe just as many Americans are observing. They can see in real time what the evidence is and where that points. But I do think a referral, in this case, it's the odd situation where it may actually have the opposite, an unintended effect, where it creates more political pressure, which is exactly what A.G. Garland seems not to want. So in a strange way, this might be the rare case where they should come to their own conclusions, listen to the evidence like everyone else is, and draw conclusions that seem on their face, to be impossible not to come away with.
So, Governor Dean, I just want to end with this very quickly. You now have some Republicans, some very quiet, right, the grown-ups in the room, who are saying, hey, look, maybe Donald Trump shouldn't run again. Maybe it's going to be a problem. Maybe, him running with all these sort of allegations and all this violence associated with him, maybe it ends up being damaging for the party. I'm not falling for a banana in the tailpipe again. There have been people complaining about Trump for 5 years. Keeps running. Do you think any of these charges or potential allegations could influence when he's going to decide to make an announcement, or do you think it's just a done deal that the former president will run again in 2024?
I don't think it's a done deal at all, and I have no idea what his calculation is. But we won in Georgia, particularly in the Senate, because of Donald Trump, because there were a number of Republican women, moderate Republican women in the suburbs who couldn't stomach voting for this crook and this disgusting person. And they just couldn't. And that's happening all over the country every day, the more of stuff that comes out. So I'm actually hoping that Trump does run. I think Trump's calculation is mixed up with his illness, which is narcissism, acute narcissism. And it's also mixed up with a political calculation that he's not very good at. I mean, there are a lot of younger people in that party that are much scarier. DeSantis, for one, who just today announced he was going to require all students in Florida's colleges to declare their political views. I mean, this guy is a fascist. Trump is too narcissistic and ill to be a successful fascist, even though he has all those instincts. And I think he'll be easier to beat than any of the other potential candidates.
Howard Dean and Danya Perry, thank you so much for starting us off on the beat today. Coming up, more on these new subpoenas in the Trump criminal probe. We have an exclusive live interview with a witness who just talked to the grand jury. You don't want to miss it. Plus, a special guest on how far right-wing radio is laying the groundwork for the next election coup. And the latest on the Highland Park massacre and a police shooting that left 60 bullets in a young black man's body. And a lot of unanswered questions. Stay with us. Jason Johnson on the beat.
What happens to your body language when you use Dove Dry Spray? It shows. Try Dove Dry Spray. Our weightless formula with 1/4 moisturizers is effective and kind to skin, leaving you feeling instantly dry and confident.
New PolyGrip Power. Hold and seal. Clinically proven to give strongest hold. Plus, seals out 5 times more food particles. Fear no food. New PolyGrip Power, hold and seal.
Lemons, lemons, lemons. The world is so full of lemons. When you become an Expedia member, you can instantly start saving on your travels. So you can go and see all those lemons for less.
Keep life zesty with Zantac 360 Degrees. Heartburn can't stop this party because Zantac 360's triple action prevents, relieves, and lasts, working in as little as 15 minutes. Keep life zesty with Zantac 360.
Introducing Icy Hot Pro. Ice works fast to freeze your pain and your doubt. Heat makes it last, so you'll never sit this one out. New Icy Hot Pro with 2 max strength pain relievers.
Lead off the day with MLB Central.
starring D-Row, Lauren, and Roflo. Live.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah,
now, man.
With baseball's latest buzz and breakdowns.
We come here to get tough.
I know how to fight.
And daily guests from all around the horn.
Oh, yeah, it does look good on camera.
I thought we were friends. MLB Central, weekday mornings 9 Eastern.